Hey everybody, welcome to Eternal Mooncast special program Bishoujo Senshi Slumber Party. We're on the current adventure of the reviewing the Sailor Moon Deeked Up. This will be the discussion portion for episodes 71 through 75. We'll talk about what worked, what didn't, and how we think these episodes could have been even better.
Sailor Moon has a long and rich history, but have you seen everything? I'm Relia, and these are my friends Monica and Michi. We are three lifelong Sailor Moon fans who dove headfirst into the fandom and have stayed there ever since. We love being part of the fan community surrounding such a genre-defining series. If you've been watching and you want to jump to a particular episode, timestamps will be down in the description below.
Now, we know you may not have seen the deep dub. In fact, these were known as the lost episodes. If you want to watch along with us and enjoy our reactions, join our Patreon to get in on the fun. It's completely free, unless you'd like to get our reactions 1 week early, and then that is $1 whole. Please enjoy. That link is in the description below.
All right, so let's dive into discussing episodes 71 through 75. Monica and I have watched some of these both in Japanese and English as usual to give a little bit more commentary about them. The Japanese episode numbers, if you're following along with that, I believe are going to be 78 through 82. 78, 79, 80, 81, 82. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be summarizing each episode, talking about them, sharing our thoughts with you. We're excited to share our favorite moments, what we loved, and everything else in between. And there's a lot of everything else in between this week. Oh boy. You can go ahead and join that chat or post in the comments and let us know what you think about each episode too.
And we want to thank our citizens of the Mooniverse. Did I update it? I don't remember if I updated it. I hope I updated it. I know we have the wonderful Sailor Denzel and the wonderful Lady Chappelle and our citizens of the Mooniverse. And thank you to our Twitch subscribers. We love you all. Thank you so much for the support on Patreon and Twitch. And you help make the Moony magic. A reminder, this is a monthly show and that all these are just our personal opinions. We in no way represent Biz, Toei, or the Sailor Moon intellectual property in any way.
All right, I guess we get started, huh?
We have to announce our...
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
We have
forgot we have
room for one more.
Completely forgot we have a guest.
Room for one more.
Yeah, forget. Yeah. Fuck it. Sorry.
Roll it back.
Let's
run it back a little bit.
She was making this face to the camera, and it was killing me.
It's me. I'm here.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Welcome, Fancy Duckie, who is one of our wonderful Bishoujo Senshi Slumber Party members, and she is tagging in for this episode.
We're pretty excited to talk about these episodes. There are some really fun ones in here, and some that I have some strong feelings.
Yeah, there's some good episodes and some real stinkers. So let's get started. Now I can get started. Our guest is here.
Yes, because here's the thing. We can't start the show on an episode about Sailor Venus without Duckie being in the room. I'm like, these are like laws.
Yes.
I was so excited. I was like,
Good.
Bring
the
my
bell,
girl.
Venus lovers, come get your food.
Stupid shrine.
Okay, let's get started. So go ahead, Relia, with your summary.
Yep, so dub episode 71. Michi, what's our English title?
No, thanks, Nurse Venus.
And Monica?
Japanese episode 78, Venus Minako's Nurse Mayhem.
Venus Minako's Nurse Mayhem.
Yes.
Venus Minako, an interesting choice.
I also thought the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
That is the title of this episode.
And in a weird way, shorter than most Japanese episode titles.
Yeah. Dangerously close to the point without giving it away.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so let's get into it.
Okay.
We start off in medias res. There's a big flu going around, presumably all of Tokyo, courtesy of this being Emerald's latest scheme, where when we pick up with them, all of the squad have caught this flu except for Mina and Artemis. And so Lita and Ray, we see them talking over the phone, and then we see Mina show up at Ray's house. We learn from Ray's conversation with Lita that Mina was previously over at Lita's house taking care of her, and before then, she took care of Amy. And in both cases, just an absolute train wreck, a disaster. It was so bad that they were calling to warn Ray about it.
Hurricane Mina approaching.
Unfortunately, it does not go any better for Rei. Absolutely everything that Mina does results in an ever-escalating amount of disaster until eventually Rei kicks her out. So, not to be daunted in any way by this, Mina then goes over to Serena's instead to take care of her and her whole family, because they also have the flu. At Serena's, Rini, who is also currently the only healthy one there, has been trying to help out with all the family's chores while the family's sick. But because she's a small child trying to do these things, she actually nearly falls off of a second-story balcony trying to, like, clean the blankets. And apparently, she has been just as much of a humanoid typhoon as Mina, who then, of course, also arrives to help, just as planned. So Mina and Rini team up, they put on little nurse outfits, and they decide they're going to take care of Serena together for twice the disaster. My note here says, it's giving Thing 1 and Thing 2 from Cat in the Hat. It was very much what this is channeling.
Not even a little wrong.
Serena, who's already dealing with this, then has a dream about a date with Darian that turns into a nightmare with like burning fire going on. And then she wakes up to find that Mina has then doused her forehead in water to bring her fever down, which is quite a way to wake up. Serena, having noted that it's not going well, asks Mina why she's working so hard to take care of her, even if she's not good at it. And she asks her, like, are you taking care of me because I'm the princess? And Mina says, no, she's doing it because she really likes Serena and wants to take care of her. So then Mina and Rini head off to the hospital to pick up some medication to try and help Serena's family. While at the hospital, they find that the place is weirdly empty for a hospital. So after some looking around, they stumble upon Emerald and her latest droid disguised as doctors, and Emerald tries to give Rini what I can only describe as an evil flu shot to give her the evil flu. Rini freaks out and does her crescent beacon again, where she screams and a beacon lights up the whole city. This, of course, then gets the attention of the entire squad. Venus is already on the scene for obvious reasons. She was physically there, so she attacks first. Emerald, who sees that Venus has showed up surprisingly quickly, asks Venus, like, did you already know about my plan and come here to stop me? And, like, in response to all of her questions, Venus, like, absolutely was like, yes, of course I knew about your plan. I definitely knew about your plan. She did not, but she completely goes with it, and Emerald is just, like, stymied by this. The other scouts also drag themselves out of their sick beds to come and help Reedy. Fighting solo, Venus eventually gets pinned by the droid, and the droid then almost kills Reedy. Tuxedo Mask appears and is then followed by the rest of the squad. They're fighting. Venus is very worried that the others ought to still be in bed because they're sick, but they say that they're better because Venus had taken such good care of them. Sailor Moon nearly passes out from her fever, but Tuxedo Mask gives her a pep talk, and she defeats the droid. In the aftermath, now everybody recovers from their colds and feels better, except Mina and Artemis, who are now sick. So Mina, in the end, gets taken care of by Serena and Rini, and that it goes exactly as well as you would expect. This is her karmic justice for her own kind efforts, is that she gets the kind efforts of Serena and Rini, and that's the episode.
It's so cute.
Yeah. We highlighted a couple like funny quotes. Someone says the rest of us sickies in the dub,
Yes.
we thought was funny enough to highlight. And I called out that somehow Reedy manages to roll around in the dirt while indoors. I don't know how she managed to get that dirty inside.
Like, I can't tell you for sure, but I would guess, if I was guessing which of them said the phrase, the rest of us sickies, I'm going to go with Lita.
Probably.
Because Mina wasn't sick, so she wouldn't say it. I can't imagine Amy,
the rest of us sickies.
I can't imagine Ray using the word sickies either, so I suspect that if you watch the deep dub, my guess is going to be that that's a
Totally
line.
line. Yeah, that tracks for me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the good stuff.
Yeah.
We always start with the good stuff, and then we're going to talk about the bad stuff. First off, the animation in this episode.
Yep. So I made a note, like, this was one of our, or if not our first time seeing Lita's apartment. It's really cute. They pick up on the fact that in the manga too, she has a lot of plants. This makes sense. Nature is part of Jupiter's elemental affinity, especially in Sailor Moon. So I loved seeing her apartment with all of the plants. It was very cute. Ray wears a pajama outfit in this episode that is also really cute, that I liked seeing and looked very cozy. And then I also noted this is a high comedy episode and the comedic animation is very good. It was very punchy. It turned up all of the comedy to 11 because the comedic animation really contributed to it.
Yeah, there are some absolutely outstanding expressions in this episode.
Yes.
People are making some real good faces.
I feel like 90% of the memes from R are like from this episode.
Yes. Oh yeah, we also get to see Makoto with her hair down. Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Rare sighting.
Nina's eyes are the best. I literally, when she's trying to make her eat the pudding or whatever the hell it was, God knows, it was spicy, so eek.
Oh, can you hear the children in the yard?
Yeah.
Like, I think she was supposed to make Ray like a plain porridge,
Yeah.
and somehow it turned out spicy.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, what did you put in it? Child. And then someone it pinned down and we're getting upskirt shots. Is this the horny animation team?
Yes.
Yeah.
The droid is like in a latex suit. Like there's no way. We got crucifixion, we got latex, we got upskirts.
Oh my
And
god.
we got nurse outfits, you know.
And we
like
got nurse outfits. Oh my god.
Oh
You're
my god,
right.
it's like
Yeah. So let's talk about the plot of this episode. We summarized it, but let's like talk about its structure and like what was good about
Yeah.
it.
So, yeah, I had a couple of notes in here. I said, this episode is hilarious. Genuinely one of the most fun episodes of Sailor Moon of all time. All of the comedy is pretty consistently very well delivered, and the characters are really like enjoyably portrayed on an individual basis. I particularly enjoyed that the villain plot that had actually been ongoing since the beginning of the episode wasn't actually revealed to the viewer until about halfway in. Like in the Japanese episode, they established right away that like this is an Emerald plot. You don't find that out in Deke until like halfway through the episode, and it actually made for a nice little oh, that makes sense reaction for me, and was like a pleasant little break from form that Deke chose to edit it that way so that you think it's just a real flu that's going around, and then oh, it turns out that all along it was a villain plot. I actually liked that Deke change.
that's like a little bit more of like the girlies' perspective too, right? Of like they don't know immediately that like some weird happenstance in Tokyo is the baddies until it becomes obvious. Because like usually we're jumping back and forth of like, okay, hey, we have a cute little bonding whatever like B plot of the week, and then we jump to the villains doing, hey, I am evil and scheming, here is my plan to take over the ice cream shop. And then back to the girlies. So like we already know.
Yeah.
I feel like this worked.
Yeah, this is a pretty fun little filler episode, and I think it falls under the category of what I would call good filler. There's a plot device, the gang gets sick, there's a monster of the week that's relevant to it, we get some really good characterization for the girlies, and how they relate to one another, and also how they deal with illnesses. Like, this is like sometimes you're developing an OC and you do one of those questionnaires, and one of them is like, how do they react when they get sick? Like that, but the episode, but the whole episode. Which like is a little adds a lot of interesting texture to the characters and their personalities and the audience's understanding of them as characters. God, I love character work. If there's anything you need to know about me, I really like character and character work. There's also a little bit of intergroup conflict. Like they get on each other's nerves. They're really trying each other's patience, and I really like that too. And then they defeat the monster and save the day, and also it's really funny. Like this is a fun episode.
Yeah, so I think it's filler in the most pure sense.
Truly.
Like there is no relation to anything in this episode other than Emerald just being Emerald. Mina takes care of everybody but fails at it in like the most endearing way possible. Accidentally stumbled on Emerald's plan and then plays it to perfection. Then gets sick herself and has Serena as karma.
Yeah. So I think we were watching this together and I was like, did they edit out the part where it happens on Christmas?
Yeah.
Like that part was
Wait, it happened on Christmas?
Yeah, it happens on Christmas. Like it's Christmas time.
That explains the Christmas decor.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's Christmas time. It's in the middle of the winter, which makes sense because it's a flu.
Yeah.
I thought it's such a bizarre choice for them to edit out the fact that this is happening over Christmas. Like Westerners fucking love a Christmas. I don't know why.
Yeah.
why
We
would you
love a
edit that out?
Christmas special.
We do. Westerners love a Christmas.
Yep.
Like I feel like they could have played that up more. Like this could have been like the Deke Dub holiday episode.
Yeah.
That was a bizarre choice to me. Maybe that was cut for time. I don't know.
Yeah, because then they would have had to have like made extra lines about Christmas, maybe.
I don't know. They would have made it really weird. But I also think the part in the middle where like they go to pick up the medicine at the hospital and like Sailor Moon does the thing where it's like now a little bit of horror. That they cut that part completely.
Yeah.
They definitely cut the part with like Chibi Moon getting menaced by a syringe. Like the middle part where they go to the hospital and it's empty and like Emerald is there with her monster is harrowing. Like it's genuinely scary. And also, like, are we gonna talk about how Emerald Engineers of Plague was completely cut from the 90s stud? We're gonna talk about that at all?
This was like actually like a competent plan though for like Dark
plan.
Kingdom.
Literally, like as the comedy calls out, they only accidentally tripped over the fact that an evil scheme was even happening. She was completely flying under the radar with this plague.
Yeah.
I just wanted. The only thing is something I'm just like. I know this is a critique, but I'm like, I want her internal dialogue as Emerald is telling her. I want to hear what Mina's thinking. Like, holy shit,
it would be hilarious.
I think it's. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Pretend you knew. Pretend you knew. Pretend you knew. Get her to yap. that is my guess.
Yeah. Sailor Denzel says, loving the Deke dub when Serena's on the phone with Ray, and Ray's like, you can't let her in, lock the doors and save
Lock your doors. Hide your kids, hide your wife.
So I think that is a fun way to jump from talking about the structure and the plot of this episode to the characterization in the episode, which, oh boy, this one's a real great friend group energy episode.
It means so well, but does so badly in the best possible way.
Yeah. I left a note that said, Rini, how the fuck did you get on the other side of the balcony? Girl, what the fuck? And then I watched the Japanese and there's an explanation for how she wound up over there.
How? Because it doesn't make any fucking
She's trying to like air out the comfort.
Yeah, she got blown away. Like she was trying to shake out the sheets and got like blown away over onto the other side. Which is like not more plausible, but at least it's explained. Yes. My note underneath when I was like, Rini, how the fuck did you get there? Was like, oh, this is also the kid who literally jumped off of a balcony before, so I guess this isn't that weird.
It's not that far off
with a Glock.
Also, there's a part where Mina just super jumps. She just jumps from the ground up onto the balcony, untransformed. And I said, I guess she kept that from her time spent as Sailor V.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, just in her human form, just from the ground onto the balcony in a standing jump.
So does that mean that they don't need the transform to use their powers?
I wouldn't think about it too hard.
I think.
Do not take a comedic episode and use it for like canonical knowledge.
Okay, but like, everybody has like powers light.
They do
in their civilian form.
That's true.
Right? Like,
that is
Mako
true.
is still like ridiculously strong.
Crazy strong, yeah.
Ray has had premonition and like everything else even before she was like awakened. Usagi is just like, hi, I'm a magnet. Please help me. So I think like it's not a stretch to be like Mina also has like at least super strength. Oh yeah, anime star athlete powers. That's right. She's on board.
Yeah. Like it didn't suspend my disbelief. It didn't strain my suspension of disbelief that she was able to do that. I was like, untransformed. Oh, okay, girl. Okay.
Okay, girl, pop off.
Yeah. I mean, like I said in my note, immediately my first thought was like, oh, probably from her time spent as Sailor V. Like, she's good at super jumping. Nope.
And then Dumb and Dumber take on nursing.
Oh my god, you're so right. Also, I think Sailor Denzel pointed out earlier, or maybe it was her, I missed who it was. Mina is apparently strong enough to throw a thermometer through the glass window. She's just like, which that's just a comedy beat. Like,
here we go.
Yeah, I'll have up Zora. How violently was Minako shaking the thermometer to fling it through a window? Well, she did just super jump onto a balcony.
She's apparently the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
No wonder she was good at volleyball. She probably was a beast.
Yeah, just like
yeet. Mina knows exactly when to transform and nobody has to tell her. Artemis taught her.
Yeah. She did have a bunch of time spent basically as a solo unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she knows. Like,
she knows.
I just appreciate it because I hate that every episode someone has to look at her and be like, Sailor Moon.
Use your powers, babe.
Transform!
Sailor Moon,
use your powers. Or else we get a whole episode in S about how much of a boost
that's
Minako is
right.
in
Oh,
volleyball. That is true.
The only thing I have to
that.
complain about is I wish it would have been in their mind that we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Not tonight.
And Mina, like in the manga too, like she keeps up with her sporting hobbies. Like
Yeah.
her iconic scene with her and Ray in Stars, where they're being lesbians together, who are like, we don't need men.
Yeah.
She's wearing her gym uniform.
Yeah, she's got a like volleyball.
She's presumably come from volleyball practice.
Yes. Yeah. The gang is at their finest in this episode. I love a character-driven Sailor Moon episode.
But yeah, I was very much in agreement. Like, top-notch characterization here. Mina obviously was the star of this episode, but I also particularly enjoyed Ray, like, very companionably trying to warn Serena about the oncoming Mina tornado, which I wrote down as Minado. And Serena wanting to know, like, and I really enjoyed Serena wanting to know why Mina was trying so hard at something she sucks at. Like, that was a genuinely sweet character moment.
Yeah, no, I was bouncing off that where I was agreeing it was a great character moment because I think, especially when the music plays, that's when you know it's a great character moment.
Yep.
Yeah, while Mina is being the fuck up at Ray's house, Artemis says, "I'm sorry, Ray, she's not doing this on purpose," which is certainly much nicer than whatever got said in the detail.
Nothing nice.
Yeah. Yep. The conversation on the balcony, which I believe is between Mina, Chibi Moon, and Usagi, is also significantly more normal in Japanese. I feel like they're having a dumb argument in the Deep Dub because the Deep Dub loves to turn a normal conversation into a stupid argument. Yep, at the drop of act. That is shocking no one. It's a normal conversation. He mostly just doesn't want Chibiusa to do things she's not capable of, given that she just got blown away over a balcony a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And they get into an argument about it. I also left a note that I didn't contextualize that just says, "Getting a little gay in here, Mina."
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was about.
Twice. Yeah.
Ducky remembers.
I think that has to do with, like, she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And Mina is like, "Because I love you."
Yeah. No. Also, like, her and Ray being just, like, old married couple of, like, I fucking hate your cooking. No. Like, my heart. My little gay heart. But yeah, no, her being like, "No, Usagi." She's like, "I like you for who you are. You're one of a kind. You're one of a kind, but I don't know, like, what kind. But, like, you're the glue that holds us together." Like, oh, my heart. My heart. My baby girl. I love her so much. And also, like, I think Mina, like, this kind of plays out a few episodes down. I think, like, throughout. There's, like, one where this isn't, like, a running theme, but, like, doing the right thing even though it's futile because you're the only one there, right? Everybody else is busted. Like, Lita's sick. She can't cook the soup. Ami's sick. She can't, like, figure out what OTC pharmaceuticals the squad need, right? Like, she's the only one that's got, like, half a brain cell in a functioning body, so she's gonna do it even though she sucks because she's here.
She's like the brain cell of an orange cat.
Yeah.
Like, it's there. It's there.
We're approaching a thought. But yeah, like, oh, my heart. And, like, just all of the girlies' interaction, like, scrumptious. Also, poor Kuko Mama in this app. Like, she's like, "I'm going back to bed. I ain't even." Like, I will deal with this later.
You know what? Ikuko Mama deserves to.
Yes.
You know what? Ikuko Mama is like, when she gets interviewed after Usagi becomes queen of the fucking world.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Were there any signs?" She's like, "Her friend did jump up on the balcony one time." Like, Venus would be the one to give them away as superheroes.
Yeah.
One of the things that, like, I like about Sailor Moon is that, like, the idea that they have to conceal their identities is dispatched with really fast. Like,
yeah,
there's no, like, a lot of people, when I've seen people, like, try to do, like, I don't know, Sailor Moon tabletop RPG or Magical Girl tabletop RPG or something like that, they're like, it's about balancing your regular life with your superhero life. And I'm like, did we watch the same show? Because this sure isn't. Like, like, sometimes the way that it usually goes is that, like, something happens in their mundane life that turns out to be supernatural.
Yep.
And then they have to call upon their supernatural nature to deal with the supernatural threat and save their regular life from the supernatural threat. And it's not actually about them. There is no conflict of interest.
There's almost no episodes. We had one episode in season 1, which was about Serena needing to hide her identity from her parents when they were at the hot springs.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm sad about Mama. And, oh no, he's here. I have to transform, but my parents are right here. I have to run away. Like, that's the only time heretofore where we've seen it presented as though her superpowered life was in conflict with her regular life.
I think that's the like one of the only episodes like, oh, Sammy and the Dolls. Yes, that's also.
Sammy, and I guess arguably the episode with Amy where she can potentially go overseas to an exchange program and has to decide what she's going to do. But generally,
it's a background element, really. There's not really sometimes they just transform right in the middle of the crowded street. There's no masquerade they're upholding here. No. So after that tangent, was this relevant to the ongoing story? And I'm going to read you my notes exactly as they are as I was reacting live to this, which says 5 minutes in and not very much. But I like when filler episodes do character work. Immediate sub-bullet. Okay, I'm rolled out here scheming, so I guess there will be some next sub-bullet. Never mind. No, not really.
Well, like, not a damn thing.
It's an orange cat of an episode.
I literally wrote straight up filler, but I don't care. What a joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did point out that there is that whole cut scene that explains the title of this episode could just be Emerald Engineers of Plague, which does make it a little bit more relevant to the ongoing plot, but like not that much.
Not really. Yeah.
No.
We always judge an episode about whether or not it was engaging and exciting, even if it wasn't relevant or high quality.
Yeah.
And I just said, those halcyon days when you could do a plot about everyone getting sick without it being traumatic.
Yeah, back when plagues weren't a thing that we regularly dealt with in our real lives.
Yeah.
Not traumatizing.
I wrote exciting, engaging, absolutely yes.
Yeah. Relevant or high quality? Less
hijinks. Hijinks are us. We love. Yeah. Also, I'm just like the nurse bit, and also like why not Minako with Chibiusa? Like any interaction between the two of them just makes my little heart.
Yeah, I really like whenever we get to see character interactions that are non-standardly focused on, like when we got the episode where Lita and Mina had a fight. I loved that because we rarely get their interaction explored. So I really like, again, this is one where you get to see specifically Mina and Rini, their interaction, their little dynamic together. It was very cute to see that.
And like one thing that I do like about Sailor Moon filler, as opposed to other series, Nart, it's been over a decade and I'm still bitter, is that like the filler, like the character growth that happens in the filler carries.
Yes.
Like this was not all for naught.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is filler, but delightful cheesecake of a filler. Also, of note, Mina gets her idiom correct at the end of the episode, and I'm like, is that the secret? Does she have to be ill to like get them?
Apparently, when she's firing on all cylinders, malapropisms left and right. Like when she's ill, her brain accidentally gets it correct.
I want to piggyback off of that thing you said about Sailor Moon filler being better than a certain show called Nart. The thing that I think is the big difference there is that when Sailor Moon did filler, it was often interesting one-off episodes that used the characters in ways that were authentic to themselves to just tell like one-off funky weird little stories. They would do like a bunch of weird little side stories that don't advance the plot, but do tell you some things about the characters and a little bit about the world. They're more like all the filler episodes are like side stories. You can actually do a fillerless run of Sailor Moon watch through where you just go plot beat to plot beat, and it's a delightful experience. I actually highly recommend it. That's how I showed my friend Brian the whole show. It's like we're skipping everything but the good filler. Yep. But shows like Naruto and like Bleach, and this is a shonen problem. They will try to take the filler and use it to stretch out the plot beats that are already established, or tell sub arcs inside an already complete arc. And so what they are doing is then shoehorning a plot line into this storytelling that's already complete, instead of going, we have to take a breather or we're going to tell a side story. Or like one of the most charming filler episodes of DBZ is the one where they learn to drive cars.
Yeah.
Because it's not trying to stretch out a fight that isn't that long. Just to pick on another show I really like.
Sure.
Another classic of the era. But like, you'd have these DBZ filler episodes where literally nothing happens because they're trying to stretch out a fight that the
Right.
manga hasn't caught up with. And so you can't make a fight that's supposed to be 2 episodes, 6 episodes. You wind up with like
Yeah.
30 minutes of screaming.
Yeah.
Or like characters developing something that then has to go away because it was stretching out an extended plot instead of telling a spin-off story. And whenever Sailor Moon tells a spin-off story, it always tells us something new and interesting about the good ones. Sorry, not always, just the good ones. Tell us something new and interesting about these characters that then completes our picture of them in our minds as the viewer. So when we get back to the plot, we still remember that, you know, what Mina did heroically to help her friends when they were sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also the placement of the filler in Sailor Moon, because there's plenty of filler in Sailor Moon.
So much filler in Sailor Moon.
The placement of it is always thoughtful about maintaining the tension of the plot itself. So you're never going to have a filler episode between like the last 2 episodes of a season or anything where like everything is coming together. Once you start rolling with the end game, it's going to roll all the way. And if you think about, so it was piggybacking off of what you were saying about like Naruto and Bleach and how they are in Dragon Ball Z, where they're using filler to stretch something that should be 2 episodes into 6 episodes. Think about, imagine the tension as like being pulled between that like bubble gum. And if you stretch it a little bit, it will hold taut. It has an elasticity to it. It's springy. If you stretch it too far, it will go limp. And so you picture your tension that way of like the excitement, the enthusiasm of the actual plot line is maintaining its weight and tension when it is packed in a reasonably paced amount. But if you try to stretch that same amount of tension over too much screen time, the tension will fall flat. It will go slack. It doesn't feel as tense anymore. In the same way that you can literally watch an episode of Dragon Ball Z in which, like, Goku learns that, like, Planet Namek is going to blow up in 7 minutes. And at the end of a 23-minute episode, Planet Namek has not blown up yet, which implies that 23 minutes contained less than 7 minutes. Instantly, your knowledge, you know how long an episode is, and you know that you were told 7 minutes at the beginning. Literally, the stakes that were set were not met by what you were presented. That instantly deflates the tension. And so there's a thoughtfulness to the fact that the filler is going to be, okay, we introduced the first villain, it's Jedi, or it's Rubius, or whatever. And then we've got some filler episodes of showing that like some effort has been made, but a lot of those can be filler. They don't have to individually be important. A few of them will. Most of them will be filler. That's fine, because we expected that some starting attempts would be made in that time. So it doesn't decrease our sense of expectation for the overall storyline. Emerald, same thing. We had a few important episodes where we had the Spectre sisters, we had Rubius, we introduced Emerald, and then we have some space for breathing room for the filler to fit in again where it makes sense to be. And then we're going to get rolling into stuff that is like all the rest of the plot all at once. You will not suddenly have filler in there.
Also, Ura made a really excellent point. It's really hard to classify Sailor Moon filler as filler because compared to the manga, the 90s anime is basically fanfiction.
That's what I was just going to bring up next.
Yeah.
Go ahead and bring it up. Also, I'm okay. It's very pollen-y, and my throat is dry, and I just can't mute myself when Relia is talking.
Yeah,
like this is the thing that I like about the 90s anime, and what I like wanted for Crystal is like Crystal, I wanted to be like the best of both worlds, where we had like some of the 90s anime filler and like a more closely aligned plot to the 90s manga. But the thing that I didn't love about the 90s manga is that we don't get like a whole ton of characterization of the rest of the Senshi outside of like Mamo, Usagi, Chibiusa. Like we know everything about them. We know next to nothing about the rest of the girlies, and also with the villains too. Like it's just like, okay, Rubius is here, now he's dead. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
bye.
Literally in the manga, the rest of the girls, the only time that they really get like character dives is explicitly in side stories. Like when you have the side story about Rei with her like politician dad and things like that. It is explicitly separate from the actual canonical storyline, and it's just a bonus thing that Takeuchi-san is providing.
Yeah, I will go off on a tangent about the manga for far too long. So let's talk about our standout moments.
Yeah, valid.
Keep moving.
had a lot of like specifically standout lines that were really funny.
Sure.
Artemis had a line about like, in reaction to something Mina had did where he was like, "What these eyes have seen." It's like a grizzled old war veteran line. Rini definitely at some point, maybe when she was trying to deal with the sheets, yells, "Stop this crazy thing," which is a beautiful reference. Then we had a few lines. I mentioned in the summary that when Serena is sick, she has a fever dream. And in the fever dream, like all the girls are in the dream. And Ray's line is, "Why am I floating around in your dream?" And Lena's line is, "Stop dreaming. I've got places to be," which were hilarious. And then I also loved the part where like Sailor Venus specifically gives a full main character speech as though she is Sailor Moon and bluffs that she knew Emerald's plan all along. It was chef's kiss. Iconic.
And then I love Mina blowing up Ray's cassette player.
Oh my god!
Yep.
Like, the nostalgia of cassettes. That's so cute.
How?
B, what the fuck did you do, child? Like, you were Songs of the Sea turned into...
Songs
was
of
that?
Satan.
Yes. Oh my god. And then I just again pointing out how much I love the heartfelt moment between Serena and Mina, and of course Mina going along with the evil monologue, because that was... I'm sad nobody witnessed that, because that was some of Mina's finest work.
So good.
Yes.
No one appreciates her.
She has a brain. She just pretends she doesn't.
That brain cell like grabbed onto that thought and was like, "I got this."
Oh, my whole heart. We already talked about Mina and Ray being an old married couple. The nurse bits. The pose. Like, come on.
The fact you haven't cosplayed that is just a shame.
I know. Ash and I have had it on our list for literal years. Like, this has been on the list since Moon Menagerie's, like, formation. I might twist our arm into doing it this summer, honestly, because we have a bunch of cotton sateen. We could whip these out in like a day and they would be so cute.
And they'd be so cute to shoot. Like,
oh my god. Dead. Also, Emerald's fur coat. Emerald's fur coat. Emerald's fur coat.
Emerald has never worn an outfit that is not fully a sleigh.
Yeah, like I'm gagged.
So let's talk about our favorite parts of the episode.
Yeah.
Artemis is getting dragged along for the ride. Like, it was so funny.
Oh, that's where he's...
So my favorite part of this episode was actually the little exchange between Mina and Serena, where Mina explains that she knows she's bad at helping, but she wants to try anyway. Not because Serena's the Moon Princess, but because she likes who she is as a person and wants to support her. We don't see a ton of exploration of the underlying question of what it means to be destined to be someone else's protector and guardian, and to be expected to lay down your life for them because in the past you were expected to lay down your life for them. And the idea that like it's always important in Sailor Moon specifically that they don't just do this because she's the princess and they think she must be protected because she's the princess. They love her as a person. She is the reason she changes the world is because of who she is individually. And it is always nice to see, like, I loved that Serena asked. She was like, "Are you doing this because I'm the princess?" We don't often see Serena feeling that anxiety of, are they just doing this because they feel an obligation to my role? But it was really nice to see that exchange of her, like, is this because I'm the princess? And Mina saying, no, it's because you're my fucking friend.
Yeah. Who's our favorite character of this episode, and why is it Mina?
Also for Artemis.
Or calling us out on our being 40 minutes on this episode. Don't worry, the next one sucks. So
listen.
No, but here's the problem: is I know somebody gave a dissertation partway through.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Could write, like, if I had to go back for, like, a PhD in anything, there would be, like, a Sailor Moon dissertation. Also, like, I love this episode because it shows, like, Mina is, like, it feeds into my theory of, like, Mina isn't actually as dumb as she presents herself to be. Like, that is a front because, like, if you pretend you're stupid and people think you're stupid, then... when you do things wrong, they can't get you. And also, like, I think it benefits her in terms of, like, strategy with the villains, too, of, like, if they think she's an idiot, they're not going to expect that she's, like, competent and going to kill them with the sword. Anyway.
No,
also,
so
Rini and Tux's cape is the little baby bat burrito.
Yeah. Yeah. Since we unequivocally loved this episode, I don't know that we need to talk about the parts that were misses.
Sure.
Do we have a couple notes about what might make it better?
Yeah, because I know. And by the way, Relia, I meant the dissertation with all the love in the world. Because
Yeah,
I read through it.
I warned you. I warned you what was coming with that one. That's gonna be
No, so that's why I just wanted to know. I meant it with love.
So yeah, let's talk about what would make it better. I said literally the only big change I could come up with here, other than fixing the like eat your burgers Apollo moment of soup being cool, that would be to cut the dream sequence. I didn't necessarily think it was necessary, and maybe get rid of Tuxedo Mask's thoughts and prayers moment.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, there's a moment where Sailor Moon is like, because she still has a fever, like stumbles and is on the verge of fainting because she's out of energy, and Tuxedo Mask is like, I know you can do it, Sailor Moon. You're very brave. Like, and he just like thoughts and prayers to her, and she's just like, oh, I guess I'm not sick then.
That's not the problem here, bud. Like,
powers, like unnecessary Tux. This is not the first time he's done this to her.
Yeah, I hate him.
Like this isn't the problem this episode. Like there are times where Saki's like, I'm skill. But like, no, dude, like she has a fever. How about get Mina down? Like, also let Mina kill stuff. Thank you.
How about our rating? I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5 just because it's really funny.
Same, 4 out of 5. It's adorable and funny.
I gave this one a strong 4.5 out of 5. Like, I could barely improve on this episode at all. That is how much I thought it was just a really strong episode.
And then
Ducky.
What?
She's giving it 10 out of 10. We rated out of 5, but she's giving it a 10 out of 10. Nope.
I was gonna say, I'm like, how do I calculate that?
Yeah, I think that's, a 10 out of 10 is a 5 out of 5.
Yeah,
it's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what's our overall rating?
She's just giving it more stars. She could also give it a 20 out of 20.
Yes. 15 out of 10, a la We Rate Dogs.
You love to mess with me so much. But okay, so are we giving it a 4.5 out of 5?
Yeah, give it that 4.5, I believe.
We need it. But yeah, yay!
Yay! All right, next episode, finally, at 8 p.m.
Oh,
Let's...
Oh no!
The more of us we add, the longer this goes.
100%.
That's because we go off on tangents, and I love our tangents.
That's what people are here for.
So dub episode 72. Michi, give us that name.
Dog Day for Artemis.
Perfect deep name.
Yep, Jackson's episode 79. Artemis's Adventure! Exclamation point. The Evil Animal Kingdom.
There we go. Okay, when we open the episode, Artemis gets caught stealing from a kitchen. He gets chased out by the chef. He runs directly to Serena's, and Luna mocks him for what happened. He says he's been looking for the Nega hideout all of this time, but Luna does not believe him and just mocks him even more. Rini and Serena enter, and they also join in on mocking Artemis. Artemis, not feeling great about this, leaves, and as he's going, he tells Luna he's not talking to her anymore. He runs back to Mina, who figures out that he's had a fight with Luna and tries to give him some advice. Artemis decides that he has to prove himself to not get mocked anymore, and he runs off. He runs into Serena and Luna again out on the street, and Serena accidentally steps on his head. Luna mocks him for this again. They both laugh at him for it, and so he runs off again. In his travels, Artemis then stumbles upon a box of abandoned kittens in an alley, but before he can act, an animal hoarder-looking dude shows up and takes the kittens away. Artemis gives chase, thinking this might be an opportunity to prove himself. He sees this same animal hoarder-looking guy also kidnap a stray dog, and Artemis hitches a ride on the bumper to see what's going on. Meanwhile, Emerald uses her evil earring to douse for a new target. While doing so, she gets peed on by a cat and chases the cat into an animal shelter, followed by the car that Artemis is clinging onto. The animal hoarder guy actually works for the shelter and was just rescuing animals. But Emerald takes over the shelter as it's going to be her next crystal point. And the droid that she creates has the power to hypnotize animals to do whatever she wants. Ada and Amy were nearby and they saw Artemis going into the animal shelter, and they all assumed that he went there to get readopted to a new family because Luna is too mean to him. Serena says this is all Luna's fault, and Luna denies responsibility. Everyone tells Luna that she is really harsh and Artemis's feelings were probably hurt. Mina says that Artemis might be in danger at the shelter and guilts her pretty hard about this. Luna finally agrees to go. Rini hears that they're going to the zoo and invites herself along. She didn't need to be in this episode. Artemis is pleased to see that the strays that were kidnapped from the shelter are actually all safe, but then he notices they're being used to perform tricks that are ostensibly impossible for animals, and then attack innocent people. Luna does find Artemis. She spots him and encourages him to come back to safety from the animal attacks. She almost apologizes, then doesn't, and is mean to him again. He tells her to go home and plans to go do something impressive. Unfortunately, while trying to do something impressive, he slips on a can, so Luna never misses an opportunity and mocks him again. The innocent people are being cornered by the brainwashed animals and the droid, and they start getting their energy zapped. Emerald is like really loving it. Serena and Mina show up because they didn't trust Lena to resolve an interpersonal conflict on her own. They see the Nega problem and they transform. Artemis runs into the fray to help, but he gets attacked by the brainwashed animals and the droid. He gets pummeled, but he just doesn't give up. He nearly gets killed, but Luna jumps in to save him. He says he's got to do something impressive so that she won't think he's stupid. She gets upset and tries to protect him again. He nearly takes another hit for Luna, but Venus attacks so the cats can both escape. The girls then get attacked by the animals. Jupiter, Mars, and Mercury show up to provide backup. Jupiter and Mars use their attacks to corral the animals, and then Mercury fences them in with the ice. The droid catches the squad and leashes them with literal leashes, but Artemis attacks the droid and claws the shit out of her face, so the squad gets free and Moon gets to dust the droid. Emerald gets peed on by a dog again and flees. The girls enjoy some time with the animals being cute. Luna half-heartedly almost praises Artemis for a second, but then Rini accidentally throws something at Artemis and Luna instead laughs at him and mocks him again. The end.
Despite the revulsion that we're going to have towards this episode in our review, there were a couple noteworthy moments, including one of us really liked the line, "He's just wigged out because he's turning into a walking catastrophe," and I don't remember who said that. Wigged out, very Canadian 90s slang.
It is.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. Also, I saw the animal hoarder and said, "What's Columbo doing?" Just like Columbo. Also, I was watching this episode with Julia, who got really mad when Serena steps on Artemis. She was like, "Why are you laughing? You stepped on him!" She was real mad about that.
Yeah.
The boots were real cute, though.
So at least, let's start right into the animation quality. At least the animators in this episode know what animals look like.
Yeah, but Emerald tweaking out was rough. And the animals did look cute, though, I will admit.
Yep. I wrote in the positives, there was a dope back-to-back shot of Moon and Venus. I loved it. And the animation in this episode was pretty good.
Yeah. I loved the, there's a little hallucination sequence when they're trying to guilt Luna about Artemis being at the shelter. And the background for it was really good. And the physical comedy was him getting chased Ratatouille style. Okay. Everything after, I'm like, goddamn. Also, Mina and Ami using their powers actually strategically in this episode. Yay. And
Yeah.
Hey, we have an application rather than just I hit stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about the structure of this plot.
Yeah. To shorten my comments here down to one line, the plot structure wasn't the big problem here.
It's not. No, this is a pretty standard filler episode. There's a plot beat, stray animals. The monster ties into it, becomes a cat problem for the gals in their community. This one features a lot more of the community. This one actually features a lot more of the community element, with a lot of innocent bystanders being threatened by mind control animals. So it has that. I'm marking that as positive. It has that going for it. That would actually be terrifying. Dogs can kill you. I think a lot of people forget. Dogs can kill you.
So can that one monkey.
Yeah, so there's a monkey. And then they contend with the problem. There's a showdown with the monster of the week. Sailor Moon uses her power, game over. The character focus on this one's not as strong. We generally do not like this episode.
Yeah, Artemis gets to be the hero in the end, but he has to go through hell to get there.
My buddies! My buddies! Why we gotta be so mean to him? Yeah, the structure's not the problem. It's very apple pie. It's okay, this is just your standard apple pie monster of the week. Good. Nothing special, but still tasty.
Yeah. The characterization, much the same. Starts off with Artemis versus Italians, a tale as old as time. I love it when the cats are, we know the cats are aliens who are turned into cats that also look like people sometimes, but also sometimes they're just cats, and I love it when the cat characters are just cats. He's in his kitchen stealing food, that's what mine does too. And I think the Deke dub, there's a part where he tries to wedge himself into the bedroom, into Usagi's bedroom, and gets hit in the face by the door.
Yes!
Which I believe the Deke dub cut out, but I wish it hadn't, because that's what my cat does too. It's hilarious as beat cat behavior. They do try to dart in the door and then get hit in the face. Yeah, that made me laugh. Not in an abusive animals way, but in a oh, I have a dumb baby who would do that too way.
My positive notes: Artemis broke up with Luna because she bullied him too much. Good for him. Will Luna finally learn to be less of a bully? Odds are not good. Spoiler, she will not. And then I liked that we had a classic appearance of Minako's tendency to get sayings wrong. Always a winner.
Oh yeah, and then we also found out she can knit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mina can count, y'all. That's like one step
Mhm.
above me.
Emerald remains 100% that bitch. She's 100% that bitch through this whole episode. And Julia called out that she, and I quote, always looks so cunty.
Yes.
I also liked that Ami was out here doing her 90s Duolingo, her pencil
Yes.
test, her Rosetta Stone.
I really liked that Serena was out here taking Luna to task for bullying Artemis and telling Luna that she's the one she needs to apologize. Even the other girls agreed with Serena.
Yeah, but again, it's just like Artemis wants to be that hero, but like every single person in this freaking show is against him.
Yeah, poor man. Getting bullied on, beaten on, frozen, cheated on.
I know, Luna doesn't treat him right.
She does not. She's horrible to him.
No, so this is completely irrelevant to the ongoing plot. My note says, this has utterly nothing to do with the plot.
Nope, just filler.
Yep. Yeah, this also, it was a pretty engaging story. Like, it's an engaging plot, but I wouldn't put this on my list of favorite or even rewatchable filler.
No. It was like decent A to B plot, but no.
I was definitely paying attention the whole time.
Yeah. Artemis gets like his little dad moment with the baby kittens, which was really cute.
Yeah, that was really
and
cute.
wholesome. Also, Luna like yelling at him about like, oh, that's a fancy like seafood restaurant. Why would they ever put the dark point there? Girl, they put a dark point everywhere else in this goddamn city. You
True.
to tell me that's not
Ridiculous.
possible.
Yeah, so like we have a couple noted standout moments. This wasn't all bad.
Yeah, Usagi and Mina back to back. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
As Relia pointed out earlier, was an epic moment.
Yeah, very epic. I would agree with that.
Yep. I liked Emerald showing up at the end just to cackle, only to have a stray dog peeing on her boot. It was funny. And I really liked, again, Serena taking Luna to task for her bullying Artist and telling her it's her responsibility to apologize, especially since in a previous episode when Rini runs away, Luna tells Serena it's her responsibility to find her and patch things up. It was nice to see that coming home to roost.
Yeah. Usagi Mina moments, 10 out of 10. We slay. 10. Like, yes. Also, I feel like this episode, as much as I hate it, the one redeeming quality for me is that it kind of hammers home that point again of like, hey, I'm just a cat because apparently we can't transform into magic people while we're on Earth, but I'm the only cat here, so I gotta do something about it. Even though I know I'm gonna get my ass beat by this droid.
He still tries.
He still tries. We love him. A noble soul, through and through.
What was everyone's favorite part then? Because we're about to give the other side of the shit sandwich.
Artemis
Evil
doing
geese.
his best.
Yeah, Artemis did nothing wrong. He
Mhm.
deserves to keep stealing from Chef Boyardee if he wants to.
Yes.
And I read that line out loud, that note exactly out loud to Julia, and she said, "How dare you? Chef Boyardee would have fed him." And
So true.
It's yes.
My favorite part of this episode, because I know we're combining these two sections, was actually the random use of Alan's flute melody from the Doomtree arc. I
Oh
said I shouldn't
yeah.
be mad about it, but I can't. It's just so pleasant.
Yeah, and I loved Emerald Civilian disguise.
Yeah.
Like she stands out in the darkest of rooms.
My favorite, unsurprisingly, evil geese.
You're like my brand.
All right.
Yeah, no,
let's-
they showed up and I
let's
was like,
talk- let's talk about what didn't work so well.
all of it.
In the animation quality, my instant note was droid animal instinct feels a bit racist in design. Just feels a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the dub name is like definitely racist overtones. I think the design of her, I think, was meant to be an Oni because she's got like the red and the pointy and like the white hair. And it's giving like Duckie Demon Slayer a little bit and like the toga thing. So like
Maybe.
Yeah, like I think there's like an element of Japanese Orientalism, which you would be like, how can the Japanese do Orientalism? It's exotifying the Middle East, like Iran and India, and like there's a lot of the Japanese shows that are like, ooh, the other India. Yeah.
Yep.
And like it's not necessarily like a sort of, I don't say racism, but it is the a Western audience is tuned into. But
Mhm.
if you know, you can spot it more
Mhm.
readily. Yeah. And also like they're, I'm gonna call it culturally chauvinistic views about the Koreans and the Japanese.
Yeah.
Not that Americans are better. I'm not saying that.
We're not.
No. Also, one of the cats is just straight up green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a
This is
green
a
cat.
green cat.
Why not? Her Japanese name was Dogvar?
That's what I was just
Dogba.
reading. I'm like, what?
Dogva. Oh.
Dogba. And
Oh.
they have a random woman say Dogba the entire episode.
Yeah, but it's like it's not the A or B team. Maybe like the we'll let you in the building with an ID badge team.
Yeah, let's talk about this stinker of a plot, though.
Random animal circus to attacking doesn't add up. Like everyone, and also everybody's an asshole to Artemis. Artemis
sure
goes to prove himself. People continue to rag on Artemis. Artemis is in danger, and suddenly everybody cares.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I also love that in Japanese, literally nobody notices the veterinarian lady now ending her sentences with Dogba.
Dogba. Yep.
Should be like, oh, the dogs are ready for their shots, Dogba. And you're like, no one noticed.
Behold their acrobatic performance, Dogba.
Nobody's like, ma'am, why?
Yeah, like you good?
Also, there's randomly a monkey there.
There's also a sheep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just one. And
Yeah,
as
just
you
one
pointed
sheep.
out, evil goose.
Evil goose. Although there is like one recorded case of like a swan killing a man. So like
Oh, swans are ferocious. They are very
swans are
aggressive.
terrifying.
Swans are very
I
scary. Yep.
love them. Evil.
Let's also talk about the bad characterization in this episode.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
God.
Also, I had to laugh. Speaking of bad or offbeat characterization, there's a part where Artemis is like, maybe they're under a magic spell. Any excuse to do the Artemis
Mhm.
voice for you. And I was like, buddy, you are in a series with dark magic. Yes, probably.
Yeah.
This is known to exist.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
a fringe theory.
No.
Yeah. No.
I wrote, Luna could not be more intolerable in this episode. Oh my
know.
god, she's
Yeah.
just such an aggressively mean character.
She's so fucking mean this episode.
Yeah, and while I'm usually here for character exploration filler, like most of it, the character exploration in this episode, at least the 90s cut, appears to be that Luna sucks as a partner. That's the whole point of this
Mhm.
episode. And I thought, like, it pushes him to the point where he feels like he needs to do something to prove his worth to her. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's a fucked up thing to do in a character
Mhm.
episode. And she's not much nicer in Japanese.
Nope.
She's just mean in a different way because culture is different.
Yeah, I wrote down, like, it's honestly heartbreaking to see the degree to which Artemis internalizes all of Luna's bullying. She's
Yeah.
so mean to him, and he thinks the answer is that he has to prove himself to her, and worries that he's like unworthy, as unworthy as she says that she is. This was so upsetting for me to watch. Luna literally never actually apologized to Artemis or learned any particular lesson in this episode.
Yeah, Artemis is like trying his hardest and is not doing great because the people around him are awful, and even he gets hurt in the end.
I know, like even the last bit with like Rini chucking her backpack at him, like
Why?
for why? For why has my boy not suffered enough this episode?
Genuinely.
Luna is so like ridiculously aggressively mean, and I'm just like, ma'am,
Yeah.
who should have gone to space? You want to know who deserved a hot scientist boyfriend? Artemis.
Artemis. Yeah.
Artemis has all the emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah, Artemis doesn't get a funny little side story, does he?
No.
I just put that
Also,
together and made me mad on his behalf. Anyway,
Also,
this
Luna rolls up.
Yeah.
Luna accuses him of cheating on her.
Luna
When
kind
in
of sucks.
reality, Luna is the one who had like Hercules, her boyfriend, Rhett Butler, her
Yeah.
boyfriend, and then has a whole ass human boyfriend in a movie all about her, for whom she turns human. Like, yeah.
Oh my god, you want to read this one? Or... You get to read this one, Duckie. If you can breathe. Okay, Monica, can you read it?
Yeah, sure. Yes, give Artemis a hot scientist boyfriend. Make Artemis twink for twink.
Yes.
I'm here for this. So this had no relevance to the ongoing story and was not boring, but not nearly as fun as the previous episode.
It just, at a certain point, the level of watching Artemis suffer for comedy just felt upsetting.
It really did.
Stop hitting my boy.
So we want to talk about like our worst, what we thought was the bottom of the barrel before we turn Relia loose to talk about what they would fix.
I feel like I need to do like some like hang on real quick. So this is like yes.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Putting me on the big monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just go right to what you have a ton of thoughts on what would make this episode better.
I
So let's just
I
go.
really
Let's
Relia's
just
like fix
everyone
it of
strap
this.
in. I'm
Yeah.
locking in.
It's
You're ready for
Alright,
this.
prepare.
Let her
I've
go.
rewritten the entire episode. I was like, this is so bad that I just have to completely do a different episode with this.
And it could have been so good because
Alright, so
you
here
just
we
made
go.
it so good.
Here we go.
So here we go.
I'm
First
locked
of
in.
all, my notes here were like Luna needs to learn an actual lesson here, one which causes her to apologize, and for Artemis to realize that he never actually needed to improve himself in order to have an expectation of being treated with care and kindness. I really enjoyed Mina's early interaction with Artemis of trying to help him with his relationship, so I wanted to see more of that, and I would have honestly liked to see Mina going much farther to hold Luna accountable for making her cat partner feel so dismayed that he literally ran away. Okay, here's my pitch. We start out following the episode. We start out the way the episode started with Artemis in a restaurant kitchen. This time, we see that Artemis was actually investigated as a possible evil future plot target, but that in his investigation, he catches a whiff of the salmon, and it's like so good at this 5-star restaurant that he just can't resist. He sneaks a bite. He gets caught, and the chef clobbers him with a rolling pin, and he runs off away to Serena's to lick his wounds with Luna. Luna then scolds him and makes fun of him while Serena bandages like a boo-boo on his tail. Serena initially laughs along, which makes Luna feel quite smug. She's used to having people back up her mean comments. But then Artemis seems to take it a little bit personally, which immediately causes Serena to stop laughing and like do a double blink. Serena's a very compassionate character, so she realizes quickly that Artemis is feeling bad. She tries to like lightly redirect the conversation or talk about something positive that Artemis did, but Luna just brings that right back to dunking on Artemis, and Artemis gets frustrated. He tells Luna that they're breaking up and he leaves. So Serena asks, didn't you guys like just break up? And Luna like poo-poos the idea, saying Artemis is just having a tantrum as usual. Serena, who's actually still recovering from an actually very painful breakup that she did have, says maybe he doesn't see it that way. And so she looks over at the photo of her and Darian and then looks away worriedly towards the window where Artemis left. Again, this is her empathy. Next, we're going to follow Artemis, so we can keep in the scene where he goes back home to Mina's and she worries about him and she offers him advice on his relationship with Luna. She really liked their bond. It was sweet to see her trying to give him a little bit of hope, even though she didn't fully understand the situation. So she tells him that he just needs Luna to see what kind of cat he is. Artemis, who's feeling invigorated, goes off to prove that he's a hero, just like in the original episode. He goes back to the restaurant to try to prove his theory right. But when he gets back to the alley behind the restaurant again, he discovers the box of kittens, just like in the original scene. This time, instead of like friendly old Columbo coming to rescue them, it's a sinister seeming woman who packs them in her car. She then also sees a dog nearby, which she lures with some kind of like evil animal treats. The dog cannot resist the evil treats and comes up to her. It's wearing a collar. This is a dog that is owned. It's not stray, but she pulls the collar off with some kind of like, you won't be needing that line. She orders the dog to get into the car too. The dog looks suspiciously zombified after eating the evil treats, and it gets in the car willingly. Artemis, who had stayed carefully hidden all this time, is very suspicious, and he like hurriedly stows away on the car. The car then arrives at the evil pet shelter, where Emerald is setting up her evil statuette and her droid, which is the woman that Artemis had just followed, who is using these evil treats to brainwash all the shelter animals into becoming her security patrol around the shelter to keep people out. The effects of the evil treats don't last, so at some point the droid's watch alarm goes off. We see her call all the animals to come get more yummy treats, and commenting to Emerald that it's time to renew their nega energy again. This is for the benefit of our youthful Western audience who needs things spelled out. Artemis then catches a whiff and is shocked that it smells so good that he almost can't resist it. He says, but luckily to himself, heroes are made of stronger stuff than that. Back with Serena and company, the squad are all gathered because now it's been quite a while since anyone's heard from Artemis and they're worried. We get a really similar scene to the original one where Serena tells Luna that it's her responsibility to apologize and make this right because she's the one who hurt his feelings in the first place. Each of the girls then reflects on a time when Luna said something mean to Artemis, and in their flashbacks, we get little glimpses of Artemis's briefly crestfallen face before he puts a smile back on. Mina is the most upset, and she talks about how Artemis is always going out of his way for the mission. Flashbacks to times when Artemis did in fact show initiatives in looking for evil targets. The ice cream episode in the Doomtree arc is a great example. Or times when Luna commanded Artemis to do a risky job instead of doing it herself. She had Artemis stick his hand into the jar with the Doomtree twig. She made Artemis stall for time, I think, against Nephrite when the others fled. And so Serena comments, yeah, even when Artemis is trying his best, you really treat him like you treat me. And that statement hangs in the air for a long second. Amy interrupts them because her Mercury computer has just gotten a news flash. There are multiple warnings of dangerous animals near the evil animal shelter, and according to her hacking of the police database, multiple noise complaints are being filed, so they think they should check it out. Here we can cut back to Artemis doing more of his hero stuff on his own. He tries to sneak into where the statuette is on his own and discover a way to dislodge it or destroy it to try to foil the plot. The droid catches him at it, and she immediately tries to negify him with an evil treat. This time, because it's so close to him, it's even harder to resist the temptation to eat it. He nearly eats it, but at the last minute, he swishes his injured tail from the beginning of the episode into his mouth and bites down on the bandage, and the pain of reopening his wound is enough to snap him out of it. He scratches at the droid's hand to knock the treats away, and they scatter over near the statuette. Artemis runs for cover and tries to think of a plan while avoiding the droid who's still trying to catch him. Somehow, he's still got to destroy that statuette. So meanwhile, the squad and Luna show up. They mostly have got their hands full dealing with all the negified animals on patrol, but similar to the original, Mercury makes a corral out of ice, and Venus uses her love chain to shepherd the animals into the ice corral without hurting them. Luna, worried about Artemis, has gone ahead by herself by this point, and the other girls follow after. Luna comes upon Artemis and the droid engaged in a fight, and she runs forward to help. But as she gets closer, this time it's Luna who gets distracted from a mission by an irresistible smell, and she can't resist the evil treats. Artemis yells at her, "No, Luna, don't eat the treats," but she's mesmerized and she chomps one down. The squad arrives just in time to be horrified along with Artemis as Luna suddenly turns evil and zombified, and the droid orders Luna to attack that mangy white cat, and zombified Luna does. Artemis is trying to avoid hurting Luna while also avoiding getting attacked by her. The scouts are trying and failing to catch Luna, who they don't want to hurt, but she keeps evading them and going after Artemis. Venus, who's increasingly worried for Artemis, begins to suggest that maybe they're going to have to use their powers to knock out Luna. And the others insist they can't do that. It's Luna. They can't use their powers on a friend. Luna manages to get like a good swipe in on Artemis, knocking him sideways towards the statuette. And Venus is just about to absolutely crescent beam smash Luna, but Artemis sees the remaining treats on the ground, looks at the statuette, and yells, "Venus, wait!" She pauses because Venus always trusts and respects Artemis. "Mars, Jupiter," Artemis shouts, "you have to free the animals. Then everybody get behind the statue." So Mars and Jupiter melt the ice wall, freeing the animals. They immediately do what they were last ordered to do, which was get those scouts, and they come running towards the squad, who've now hidden behind the statuette. Artemis dashes away, luring zombified Luna out of the path of the oncoming animals. In their stampede, the animals all knock over the statuette, destroying it and releasing all of its evil energy. The droid is so shocked by this, lamenting that no, Emerald will be furious, but this leaves her vulnerable for a few seconds, and Sailor Moon is able to attack, dusting the droid too. The animals, including Luna, suddenly return to normal, looking very confused. In the aftermath, we find out that the local community is holding an adoption drive for homeless vets and reuniting the stolen one. We see the girls in civilian form assisting with the effort. Nearby, we get a private scene with Luna and Artemis, where Luna brings Artemis a can of tuna fish as a peace offering. She thanks Artemis for saving them all with his quick thinking and admits that she, too, really is just a cat sometimes. She apologizes for treating him badly all this time and thanks him for always being there for her in spite of it. Artemis eats a little bit of the tuna, signifying that he's accepted her apology, and then nudges the tuna can between them. Here, he says, "Let's share it, one cat to another." And they do. The cat narrows down on them in the shape of a heart, and the episode ends.
Yay!
So that was my rewrite. I tried to stick as closely to the original plot as possible while making it a story in which Artemis gets to do something actually heroic and clever, and Luna actually learns a lesson and changes. But it involved having to rewrite the entire episode.
Hell yeah. Slay.
I love it.
Amazing.
Perfection.
So, not counting the Fix-It Fic version, what would we rate this? I'm giving it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5 generously, and only because we recently had to sit through an entire Fat Phobia episode.
Yeah.
That is the only reason I can give this a 2.
All right, so we're agreeing 2 out of 5. Yes, and then Ducky had a great explanation for her.
Yes.
2 out of 5.
We have 0.5 for Emerald serving cunt and a Josama laughing, 0.5 for Artemis, 0.5 for the iconic Usagi and Mina team up moment, 0.5 for the actually relevant to the plot of the episode and like, yay, this holds up in the 2020s, Sailor Moon says for, hey, spay and neuter your pets actually. So it's a 2 out of 5 for me.
Also,
let's kick off with the next episode because we spent 40 minutes on the first one.
We did.
So let's keep moving.
All right,
Technically,
Michi, what
we're
title for 73?
smart payoff.
Okay.
Japanese episode 80 is Terrifying Illusion! Exclamation point. Ami all alone.
All right. When we cut in, Emerald is hanging out in her evil space lounge taking a fancy evil bath. Sapphire pings in to tell her to get going with her next mission, but she says she's already set it up at a cramp school. She goes there in her robe and towel from her evil bath and starts her evil shenanigans. Everybody at the cramp school gets turned into an asshole, including Melvin. That's her shenanigan. Back at school, there's just a test, and Amy got the top score again. A lot of students nearby suddenly just mock the shit out of her, but Serena comforts her by saying she gets mocked about her grades too, but for the opposite reason. Nearby, even more students claim that they found a cheat sheet in Amy's desk and that she must have cheated, including Melvin. Molly is very mad at him for accusing Amy of this. Lita shows up and also defends Amy, and a guy tries to physically attack them, so Lita kicks their asses. Lita notices that all of these people go to the same cram school, but Amy's just glad that her own friends believe her. Meanwhile, her friends are still worried for her. As Amy walks home, students keep mocking her, and she finally does actually emotionally break down in an alleyway where she hopes no one can see her. But then she remembers Serena specifically saying that she believes her, and she feels reassured by this. So she decides to look into the evil cram school. She discovers, in looking into it, that it is in fact an evil cram school and transforms. She messages the squad to join her, and meanwhile, the droid attacks with a bunch of clones, illusions of itself. Mercury freezes them, so the droid just sends more of them after her. Mercury realizes she's going to have to find the real one, or the clones will just keep coming. The droid instead decides to brainwash Amy Mercury so that she will see her friends as enemies. The squad arrives, and at first, they're all working together, but then the droid uses her powers on Mercury, and Mercury sees the other girls as though they're making fun of her outfit, her studying all the time, her bragging. Mercury doesn't want to believe that her friends would badmouth her like this. So the girls try to talk to her, but Mercury can only hear the badmouthing because of the brainwashing. Moon also arrives and transforms to help, but the droid then uses her power on Moon too. And so Sailor Moon now hears her friends badmouthing her, but she shrugs it off because she's too fucking used to being badmouthed, so it just rolls off of her back like a duck. It's our princess. The droid nearly gets her, but then Tux intervenes and gives a speech, then immediately gets his ass handed to him by the droid and gets knocked off of a 6-story building. Meanwhile, Mercury is being overwhelmed by the illusion and eventually flees through a window. In her mind, she's contrasting the voices of her friends badmouthing her with her specific memories of them caring about her. She prepares to use Shine Aqua Illusion against her friends, which is very scary for them, but Sailor Moon asserts that she believes in her no matter what and that Mercury would never attack them. The droid gets in close range because she really wants to see this scout-on-scout murder happen, but it was a fake out, and instead Mercury freezes the real droid at close range and says that the droid could never understand the trust between her and her friends. Sailor Moon dusts the droid. In the aftermath, all the students who previously badmouthed Ami suddenly praise her again and want her help studying without ever actually apologizing. Serena is very mad on Amy's behalf about this, but the girls tell her that she ought to let it go. They were brainwashed, it was an evil plot, yada. She's not really satisfied, but she goes with it, and that's the episode.
Yeah, I think this is generally an episode we all really enjoyed, so the positive part's going to be pretty full, I think. Top of the animation quality. didn't like this one.
Yeah, my note down here isn't actually about the animation, but I didn't have somewhere else to put it. So I said, I don't know if this is the best category for it, but I really like the voice acting for the droid in the deep version in this episode. I thought it was good.
That was fun.
For me, the animation is garbage. See worse for my
Yeah, we'll get to your thoughts. You can be a hater a little later on.
I'm here for the droid design. It's giving Felicia Darkstalkers, but a cricket. Mistrust
is.
the droid's name, and I was like, nice, we love a good pun. I like the hallucination backgrounds again. Chibiusa like has this one, like it's a split second, but she's like on me like they're all being mean to her, and that was just yes, good.
Yeah. Let's talk about the plot. I don't know why I put this here, but I have a note that just says Emerald laugh jump scare. This is also another pretty standard Monsters of the Week episode, and I think that actually uses it to its advantage for once. This is also something that I would point to about good filler. The whole episode revolves around a character trait as a plot beat, like Amy being smart. This is all about that and her feelings surrounding that. We get to see the way the girls relate to one another. It's another like thing that makes good character filler. The good fanfic style character filler. The civilians are threatened, the mystery is solved, the monster defeated, everyone wins. And I said this fits with what I think most people picture when you say magical girl anime.
Yeah, I feel like plot-wise, this was pretty decent. They didn't pad out the runtime with any scenes that like detracted from the story. Everything served the very singular plotline in this episode. There's no real B plot, so despite it being a filler episode, they got to spend some time really letting Amy's anxiety over that bullying build up. It goes to show that like even a simple filler episode can be enjoyable when you have the runtime to let it breathe, and they did here.
I thought this was an endearing episode for Mercury to me. It made me like how much she believes in her friends and how important they are to her.
Yeah, no. And also just like Ami, like secure attachment for the win. Yay. 10 out of 10. We were able to bust through some brainwashing because we trust our homies. Like of all the characters to like try this on, like Ami was like the absolute worst. Like she has her insecurities, but like not about these friendships in the least.
Yeah.
So that was like just really wholesome for me. And also like the bit in the beginning where she's like, yeah, y'all, like that was wholly unnecessary. Like, thank you for beating their asses, but like you believe me and that's all I care about. Like, I know. She's standing on business. She knows her worth. She knows she didn't cheat.
Real.
Yeah, good place to jump into talking about the characterization in this episode, because you just spent a bunch of time talking about excellent Amy characterization in this. I have a note that says Emerald out here doing evil in her bathrobe, queen shit.
Yes.
I also noted that the Deke dub cut Esmeralda showing feet. She really does just like show some feet at the beginning of the episode.
Sorry to feet people.
Yeah, they also cut her insane bathtub. It's like
I'm so
on a
sad.
spike. It looks like a wine glass.
It's like a Jetsons bathtub.
Yes.
What?
I would think
I
know,
that.
that's like iconic.
Totally cut her being in the bathtub.
Yeah, so like in that frame, the scene is Saphir has dropped in to like be like, get out of the bathtub and fucking do something. And he is like looking at her naked.
And she's like,
she's very
only Diamond can look at me naked.
Yeah, like she's very clearly nude. Like it doesn't show anything. In fact, like it's perfectly tasteful actually, but part of the gag is that she's naked in the tub and he's walking on her, and they just cut the part where you would see her being like,
yep.
Also, I noted in this episode, Usagi is truly the world's nicest person.
Yes.
She's fantastic. A thing that I really enjoyed seeing this episode characterization-wise was seeing Molly and Melvin taking sides against each other. I thought that was really interesting and fun. It was like a nice nuance to their relationship, that they are individual people. They haven't become a unit with one opinion.
Yeah. And in Japanese, Molly actually points out that he's acting weird. Like, she says straight up, like, hey, you don't usually say mean shit like this. What's wrong with you? And I thought it was nice to, at least in the original voice lines, to have some acknowledgement that like he's clearly behaving strangely. In the English dub, everyone's suddenly mean and everyone's like, yeah, people are like that. Instead of people being like,
Molly's
hey,
just like, fuck you, Melvin.
yeah. Instead of being like, hey, you don't talk like that. Why are you saying this?
Yep.
Get out of here.
Characterization-wise, Amy had a really charming moment where she gets angry and she says, I wish I'd gotten perfect scores at this point if people are just going to accuse me of cheating anyway. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Serena's genuine ability to relate to Amy here, pointing out that she gets bullied for her grades too, but in her case, it's because she's so dumb instead of being so smart. It's nice to see that like there's a complexity to empathy and that you can relate to someone else's experience even if you come at it from a different direction. That was a really nice moment because it rings true. Serena does genuinely get bullied for being so dumb. So this was nice to see. I enjoyed that she was immune to the droid psychic bullying because she's so used to getting bullied by her loved ones. That felt honest. And this is honestly a really nice Amy episode. Even though we've seen her struggle with her insecurities before, in this case, she was actually experiencing real, not imagined scorn from her peers. So it was awesome to see her friends going to bat for her and her saving the day precisely because she does trust that her friends really do care about her and have her back. I felt like this was a strong progression from her early episodes that were touching on the same idea. It was nice to see that progress.
Yeah, I also have a note that said, I love anytime Jupes is out here solving the problem with violence. I think someone, just, especially me to her, she just picks him up and throws him. We love her. I'm about to actually, or I just asked, can you pair the trash talking of Serena versus trash talk Usagi the droid does? I didn't watch the deep dive. I'm about to talk about what, like, Ami hears in just a second. So, like, there's also this really nice moment where Ami says she's just glad that Makoto and Usagi believe her, even though Umino is out here lying. Like, Melv just out here spreading the rumor, just doing the devil's work. And I love any time Ami gets to be brave. Like, she's really brave. That's actually one of her key qualities. It often gets overlooked into pigeonholing her as just the nerd or the smart guy. But actually, like, she's very consistently quick to stand up to wrongdoing. Even small wrongdoings. Like, she's often the person who tells her friends to stop being shitty. And she's often very willing to confront one of the villains, even though she's not a frontline fighter. And this is also
creep.
This is yeah. This is also a consistent characterization in the manga, even though the characterization is not as in depth. And then to talk about the trash talk, like I think what we're supposed to perceive is when she hears her friends being mean to her, the illusion, like distorting their words and then making the victim see or hear the worst things their friends can possibly say. And here's one of the cases where I actually didn't like the Japanese dialogue. I felt a little bit less impactful. The Deke dub had them say a bunch of things that were like more personal. They were like, God, I was like, all right, talk about it, and then I didn't write down what they say.
I think they mocked like her frumpy fashion sense.
Yeah, like in
yes,
Japanese,
the frumpy fashion sense.
They mocked her haircut. Her haircut.
Haircut.
Yeah, and like most of it, I thought was really focused on appearance in the Deke dub, not the Deke dub, in Japanese, and I just don't believe that Ami cares that much about whether or not her friends think she's cute, because I think it was more like they call her a cheater and like they tell her
she like brags too
much.
Yeah.
And
she's like, I try to never talk about grades.
They all talk about things in the Deke dub is all about like personal shit, like things that are directly affecting her, like a cheater that she brags about being too smart, things that I believe that she would be self-conscious about.
Yeah.
And in Japanese, they're like, you can't dress well and your hair is bad. And I just don't believe that Ami cares more about whether or not her friends like her haircut than they do about whether she believes her friends think she's bragging about her intelligence. And that was the thing that sort of fell flat for me there. I do believe that Usagi gives a shit about whether or not her friends think her boobs are nice, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just want to touch real quick on your point that like Amy being brave is one of her key qualities that gets overlooked. I think to point to that, this is the second episode just in this season where Amy has been so willing to immediately jump into the fray and confront the enemy that she has exposed her civilian identity to the enemy. It's happened twice just
now.
in our.
And then I want to know, Emerald, where the f do you go? Like, why do you never finish a project? Why do your statues always break and you're not around?
Yeah.
Bitch,
What? You're interrupted a pedicure. Like, the disrespect. The disrespect. Anyway.
I was gonna say, you ready to go off, Duckie?
The one thing I will say about Melvin is that he's like, can I say this like as nicely as possible? Like, he is
you can just
an
say
asshole.
It meanly.
Yeah, like He's like an asshole without realizing that he's being an asshole. Like he's not.
Yeah, I know a bunch of that guy in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
there's been
like,
previous times when he's blatantly said mean shit about Usagi, like, and he
Yeah.
likes her.
Like most of the time he's just like clueless. So I loved that, like you said, like Molly calling him out of like, you're acting fucking weird. Like this is mean but different than like your usual. It's the wrong kind. Umino being a fucking hater. Also, like, he was the one that found like the cheating script thing. Like, how do you have Ami's handwriting memorized, bro? Like what?
Also, why you
Yeah,
in her desk?
like you little you little. Anyway, Mako supervising 3 idiots, like 10 out of 10. There's also a slash his body into fettuccine in regards to yes, girl, get him. Emerald is on her queen shit. Merc says sorry and
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of
Canadian.
Canadian accents in this one.
I love that the girlies are like ready to like throw down for Ami of like, this is our precious baby. If you touch her, you die. Like, and she's like, I'm good, guy. But like everybody's like scary dog privilege. But and I love how like Ami and Usagi kind of foil with each other this episode too. That was really fun.
Yeah. So this was completely, once again, irrelevant to the ongoing story. I will say, as far as was it exciting or engaging, this one's pretty fun. I like this one.
Yeah. I
It's
love an
cute.
episode that does a little bit of character digging, and this was another really nice little Mercury episode.
The animation team said it.
Somebody call Pope Francis. Be like 911.
Wait,
bro.
he just died.
He did just die.
He did just
I
die.
know.
So you want him to come back from the grave?
that-
No,
divine
then you need
intervention,
Ouija
like-
board.
Like, is this the miracle you're asking for to get him to be canonized?
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna
Yeah.
pray to Pope Francis
To fix
Uh-huh.
to fix the
of this
animation in
1990s.
From
this
this
1900
1900
and when the
anime,
animation is fixed, we'll take it to the Vatican as a
Mhm.
sign of a miracle
Yep.
and he'll become canonized.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I'm not even Catholic. I don't even go here.
Yeah, like, thanks for yes-anding that. What about our standout moments? What did we love from this episode?
He's got the shit beat out of him and no one can
Yes.
help.
My standout moment was Emerald reluctantly interrupting her day of pampering to start a new Megaflop.
Yeah. No. Ami busting out of mind control because of the power of love and friendship. Ami taking on baddies alone. Slay. We love to
Yup.
see it. And also Tux getting tossed off as a story. Made my little heart grow 3 sizes.
Yeah, what about our favorite parts?
Friendship music wins.
Emerald in her bathroom and towel dropping in to do evil and then bouncing.
Yeah.
She didn't even stick around to watch. Didn't even put
Move.
on her evil outfit.
Yeah. Could
Nope.
not be bothered. Queen shit.
Queen shit.
And so I get like once again, who's our favorite episode in this character, and why is it Ami?
Yeah.
It's just this is such a great Ami focused episode. We get a lot of the finer textures of your character here. This is a real good Mercury exploration episode.
Mercury's grown on me so much in the general rewatch that we've been doing, and I think this really episodes like this really go so far into doing that. I loved it.
Yeah, Mercury showed what a loyal friend she is, and I'm a sucker for loyalty.
Baby girl. She's always had like a little soft spot, but like rewatching, I'm like,
I know. I'm like, why did I not?
yeah,
like-
it's because of the
I
fuck ass Bob.
I actually feel like she's a character. I'm gonna unpack that a little bit. I actually feel like she's a character that we appreciate because we are adults now.
Yep.
Because one of the things
Uh.
that like she has going for her is a lot of emotional maturity, which when you are the target audience makes her seem like a stick in the mud.
Yeah.
And when you are 40, you're like, oh, that kid's really mature.
Yeah.
Like she's
All
brave.
her
she's-
serotonin has left her body.
yeah, like she's brave. She's standing up to her friends. She makes difficult choices. Like she shoulders a lot of things. She doesn't like the other kids sometimes behave very much like teenagers and they make
Mhm.
stupid teenage decisions, but she's very emotionally mature. So like she stops and thinks about it and rations it out like an adult in a way that the other kids don't. And like I think we've all met a teenager who's just ahead of the emotional maturity curve, whether like they just grew up a little bit more or their parents taught them well or they're really traumatized or whatever. But like, I don't know, it's an authentic type of character.
That's why I'm so funny.
Yeah,
It's all the
I
truth.
think like, and as a younger person, it felt frustrating that like she felt like you could read her as being presented as perfect. she never was like making mistakes, whether emotionally or logically or in any other way. It was like she never got knocked down by life, except when like literally evil was like, I'm knocking you down. And it felt like, especially in a series where the main character is catching strays at every moment and sometimes just catching grape shot to the face. And if you're here for that, you're saying, no, I love this character who is incompetent, like who is doing her best in spite of it. And you're given all these other characters, Mina, who is like the goofball, and like Lita, who is like always emotionally over investing and like jumping in feet first to every situation, and Ray, who is incredibly hot-headed. To see them contrasted with Amy, it always could feel like she was the writer's favorite in a way of like, oh, she's so perfect. Yes, of course your favorite character is the perfect one who has no flaws, blah, blah, blah. And as a coming at it from an older mindset of being able to reflect on it as like a reflection of someone who has like, she's not, there's a difference between someone who is an orphan and someone who has parents but has been parentified by. And if you have experienced parentification, which is this expectation that your parents expect you to also act as a parent either to yourself or to other people, then you start to see that, oh no, she's been parentified, and that's why she always puts herself under so much pressure to do everything and to be perfect. This is what's going on with her. I think she becomes a lot more relatable of a character.
Yeah, Ura points out, which is super correct, that it's because she comes from a broken home. Like, her parents are divorced. She was forced to grow up fast. I relate to her so much. And you are surely not alone in relating to Sailor Mercury, one of the most popular characters. So let's talk about how the animation in this, I had some bad off-model faces. Weird Eyes Squad has
the
one
Wandering Eye Squad.
There's a frame where Mina randomly has a ponytail.
Yeah.
Pink ponytail
Yes, I hate
club.
Eyes, just the eyes though were like so off kilter.
Yeah.
They saved some money in this season. Several episodes they saved. So let's talk about what stinkers we felt there might have been in the plot structure.
Yeah.
You
wanted to go off. Go off.
All right, I'm gonna read word for word, everybody. I was hot-headed as hell after this. So Mercury's going about her own damn business when piece of shit Melvin starts saying shit that she's cheating because he found something he swears is in her handwriting and somehow connects her for testing for cheating on the damn test. But like my dude, my guy, my Melvin. Ugh. So anyway, piece of shit gets other mad and gets other pieces of shit mad and swears that's what's happening. So like a plot of Mercury think everybody from piece of shit like Melvin to Scott's hater, and it's only her belief in friendship and knowing that her own morals that she'd never cheat, and that Melvin is an insecure man child. But yeah, friendship is music, and yeah, friendship is great. Shit wins the day, and Mercury is winning.
Yeah. Melvin needs to stop being such a dumb bitch hater. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
Yes, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it here.
Also,
if
Ami was going to cheat, she would like purposefully get an imperfect score so that it wouldn't be obvious that she was cheating. But she would not put her name on her cheat sheet. Either you memorized her handwriting or like you're saying like, oh, it says Ami Mizuno on top of it. Like, sir.
No, it's BS. Characterization. I just wrote, Melvin, how dare you accuse Amy of cheating?
I just wrote Melvin equals piece of shit leading other pieces of shit.
I had a note asking myself to see if this was a case where the 90s cut was extra mean, and no, Japanese meanness is just different. This is translated differently. Or phrased differently. Also, I was like, Melvin talked shit to Chibi Moon?
Yeah, he got
Dude, just going around talking to the neighborhood children, being like, did you hear Ami was... Why did he do that?
It was just... I told you, the evil plan was just that she turned him into assholes.
Also, like, I have a sub-bullet that says, okay, wait, can we talk about how Rini doesn't know what cheating is?
Yeah.
Yeah. She runs up to everybody and is like, hey, what's cheating?
I said Amy was cheating.
So bad.
What's that?
What the fuck is that?
Corrupting the youth.
Relevance to the ongoing story.
It is absolutely none. But that's not a bad thing in this episode.
But I have a question. Is this a reason to hate Melvin, or are we giving him a pass because he was under Negamoon power?
Community is forgiving Melvin.
Yeah,
he wasn't really doing it on purpose.
All right, we forgive him.
Did we find this episode boring? Because I sure didn't. Like, I actually have. This is actually an episode where I think the Deke dub is better. This is one of those cases where the snappy editing, where they like cut it down to be a little bit shorter. I think because commercial breaks are longer. I think. actually did it a favor. And the episode also actually just hits different without Bob's music.
Yeah.
Oh.
But not boring.
No, this one's that.
Nope.
All right, let's talk about what we thought was the worst part of the episode. For me, it was Tuxedo Mask showing up and telling the droid to hit him with all they've got, and then immediately getting his ass whooped when the droid hits him with all they've got.
No, this is in fact the best part of the episode. Thank you.
I guess I have to call out Melvin just being a real dick in this episode, which is out of character, which is only, the fact that's so out of character is only acknowledged in Japanese, where Naru is like, bruh. But I guess it is brainwashing, but still, like, the thing that I did think was notably out of place when watching the Deeked Up was at no point is no one else like, why did you gossip about Amy cheating to the neighborhood 9-year-old? Why did you do that?
Like this little child is like, what the fuck is cheating?
Yeah.
Also, how does she not know what cheating is? You've lived for 900 years.
No, but Melvin was so disappointing. This is not Molly's boyfriend.
No, thing it could have done entirely without. For me, I said this was another episode where some characters just didn't need to be there at all. In this case, you could have cut both Reedy and Tuxedo Mask and had the same exact episode.
And I would have preferred it if it had been like other school rivals accusing Amy of cheating instead of friends. But like, I get it. It's better for the plot, just like in an ideal world.
Okay, let's fix the episode. What would make it better? For me, I guess the ending felt a little bit like rushed or easy. It felt like all of a sudden all the brainwashed students just wanted to be Amy's friend. Like, I get they're not brainwashed anymore, but they neither apologized for talking shit about her and accusing her of cheating, nor did they at any time previously try to be her friend. It just smacks of people trying to pretend that they were only shitty because of the brainwashing instead of taking accountability for othering her in general.
Yeah, like Ami's whole bit is that she's like not popular because she's an icy bitch and she's so stuck up and she thinks she's better than everybody else because she's so smart. And like, I don't see those people doing a 180 even like post her like falling under like the Usagi like halo of like, yay, she's cute, we shall extend our kindness to this associate of Usagi. So it feels weird for them to like just be like, will you help me study? Oh my god. Like they ain't like her like that even pre-brainwashed. So to have them go from like neutral to evil to like positive, like
what? Yeah, a little bit of whiplash. Okay, so let's give this episode our rating. For me, I honestly I guess you would give this a 4 out of 5. I thought it was honestly a pretty good episode, especially for filler.
I give it a 3 out of 5 because of the animation.
Which is fair.
Yeah, cool. I'll meet you both halfway and I'll give it a 3.5. Minus points for the animation and the total lack of plot relevancy, but everything else really spectacular.
Ducky.
Yeah, it was good filler, but like the animation did take away from it for me a little bit, so I give it a 3 out of 5 for Ami alone.
All right.
Yay, group rating 3.5. Woo!
All right. Let's talk about episode 74.
Oh wait, we didn't do.
Oh, go ahead. Oh yeah.
Smash or pass.
We keep forgetting.
Yeah, this was the
cricket. Yeah.
Cricket one.
Darkstalkers for
Smash.
Smash.
That's not a hard smash for me, but like a light smash.
Yeah. Like she's hot.
Yeah. Okay. Oh god. Here we go.
All right, dub episode 74. What's our episode title, Michi?
Child's Play.
The Japanese episode title is The Dark Gate is Completed, the Targeted Elementary School.
Guess what's going to happen in this one? Okay, I was not the summarizer for these episodes, so I get to sit back and enjoy the summary.
Yeah.
Oh god, I have to read it too.
Yeah, you do.
You do. Yeah, that's how this works.
Okay, I tried to take it seriously, but my personality comes out in my. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about me. My writing was horrific, but no, now I reread it.
No. So the plot of this episode, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Episode 74, Child's Play. Here we go. It's a Chibi Moon episode. We're here. Today, Reedy makes a friend her own age. Hooray! No, like, how old is she? Like, why does she not have a single friend?
9/900.
Yeah, like she should have a friend before now. This is so sad. Okay, so cats are the one taking care of sick Reenie because Reenie is all sick because I don't know, she wasn't sick before. Reenie wants to go to school, but she made a friend named Melissa. So Rena brings Melissa to Reenie. Reenie eats both cats for Melissa and they visit. Emerald brings fabulous statues and two new henchmen, Doom and Gloom twins. No, I'm not kidding. Doom and Gloom.
Yep, that's what they're called.
That's what they're called. So
Dramatization.
she warns them not to fail and take down the Sailor Scouts. Reenie shows up to school late, bitching at Luna that she should have woken her up earlier, and Luna's saying she did, and it's a repeat for Serena, but like more annoying. But whatever. Little kids are beating the ever-loving shit out of each other because they're under the power of the Mega Force.
Yeah, that happened.
It does happen.
If you just make a bunch of little children beat each other up.
Yeah.
Emerald's like,
Real
fuck them
Lord of the
kids.
Flies up in here.
Yeah. Oh, but Melissa wants to fight Reenie. Melissa shoves Reenie and runs laughing off. Reenie is confused, and Artemis is the one to point out to both of them it's the Negaverse, because it wasn't obvious enough with them literally beating the shit out of each other for no reason. All the Negaverse influenced people at school chase Reenie. The cats and find a hiding Reenie. Melissa comes to the end. I'm just really bitter about Melissa. Melissa comes to the end with Reenie with a mop. Instead of getting out of there, Reenie decides she wants to fight for Melissa. So scouts get called 2 different attacks at once. One at Reenie's school and the other at Mayfair Park. Mars and Venus are at the park meeting Gloom. They fight. Mercury and Jupiter show up to help. Gloom pieces out when it's all 4 of them and says, "Come fight me and my brother at Harvard Elementary." Yes, Harvard Elementary.
Harvard Elementary.
Because that's where the future... Don't
Look,
even
those
want to
kids
think
can
about
always claim to other people that they went to Harvard.
Yeah.
Truth. Oh, dear God. So, Sailor Moon finds Reenie with the skeleton gag. Reenie yodels for her life, like yodels. I don't mean like yells. Yeah! Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. But Doom gets right up in her face, and Sailor Moon saves Reenie. It's Doom, Gloom, and Melissa versus Sailor Moon.
Every time you say Melissa.
Your hate for this character is hilarious. Carry on.
I don't know why, I just really hate her.
It's a bad, like, it's a dumb. We'll get into the lesson later, but the character's name is Momoko.
Yeah.
But they make it such a point that her name was Melissa and drove me batty. All right, where are we? It's Doom, Gloom, and Melissa versus Sailor Moon and Reenie and the cats. Reenie calls them even evil negatodes. Deep trash talk. And then gets protected by Mercury. Tweed Doom and Tweed Gloom don't have love on their side, so they do some great deep trash talk. Jupiter gets hurt protecting Reenie. They all get captured in a box of lightning, and Reenie, wanting to save Melissa, saves them all with her moon power. Melissa saves Reenie when Gloom tries to fry her. Reenie has a PTSD attack of her mom also doing that and loses her absolute shit. She screams to the heaven and does a moon power that impresses everyone. Seriously, voice actor, you should get kudos for screaming, because holy shit. Doom and Gloom get pushed back while Reenie glows like Goku going Super Saiyan. Prince Diamond and Wiseman are shooting the shit, and Wiseman talks to Diamond into getting Reenie on their side. Scouts are outside looking for the twins, who surprise them, but Tuxedo Mask appears on the highest possible object in the fucking yard because he took the diamond climb all the way up there before helping. Moon healing activations, and Jupiter fries them into the ground. They die. Emerald is thwarted again. She shows up to insult them, breaks a perfectly good fan. So sad. Just as she's about to go do something, Diamond stops her because they want to get Reenie on her side. Emerald tells the scouts that they are changing strategy literally to their fucking faces because we are in a 90s cartoon. As evil monologue. Melissa in the hospital. Reenie and the girls visit. Reenie stares at the sunset on the roof and decides to go in the future to save her mom. Reveals she has a time key. Asks everyone to go to the future to get her help. Darian agrees for all 6 of them without talking to anybody, but the scouts agree afterwards. Moon and Artemis are worried, but Serena points out it's dangerous here too, so they all decide to go to the future. The end.
All
That's
right.
the episode.
That is the episode.
Melissa.
Fucking Melissa.
Oh yeah. So what worked about the animation?
Rini has a Luna P blanket. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was decent animation.
Yeah. At some point, there's a flashing lights warning, and did I write down the timestamp? No,
No.
I did not.
That's fair. I think it's when she goes Super Saiyan.
Probably.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
probably one of her crescent.
Yeah, when her
Thanks,
like
yeah.
yeah.
Luna P. Banky for the win. Also, what the is happening with Rini's
could
gym
just say-
jams?
You could just say fuck.
Yeah.
What the-
Even on YouTube, we're well past the like we'll get demonetized if we say fuck in the first
We
minute
are.
or something.
Yeah. What? Why feathers on your gym jams?
Because she wants to be an
She's
ostrich.
gonna marry Pegasus eventually.
Yeah, I realized. Also, Super Saiyan Rini, chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. End of notes for the animation.
All right. So, what did we like about the plot structure?
Yeah, I don't know if this is where this belongs, but like the geek trash talk is exquisite in this episode.
Oh, hard agree. The trash talk is off the charts in this one. Even the cats get some great fish-themed cat trash talk.
Yeah, you
So
should
good.
you should go watch this episode on Patreon just to hear the trash talk in this
Mhm.
episode. It's delightful. Also, this is the most successful Emerald has ever been.
Yeah, but
On the plot.
again,
So,
Emerald, where the fuck are you?
Do
Emerald!
it!
Get the fuck out of the tub! 9-1 over here! Get the fuck over here!
She's doing hot girl shit. She's doing hot girl shit.
she
Somebody
dispatched her
calls
pretty boys
somebody
to
a
go.
little fungus at some point, and that just
Yeah.
sent
Yeah.
me into orbit.
Yeah.
The
So-
elementary schoolers being as bloodthirsty as they are, I'm like, is this truly the Nega Moon, or like,
Or
is this
kids?
just,
Yeah,
you
can be a
know?
little sociopathic sometimes before they learn.
Yeah,
empathy.
no, because Melissa was ready to end Chibiusa with that mop. Like, she was like, I am going to beat you to death.
I was gonna say that or scare her. Like, she was ready to
Yeah,
do something
like, she
evil.
was ready.
Yeah, you also have a bunch of notes about like your character thoughts on the characterization in this episode here.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
go off. You
Yeah.
left yourself a big note.
Yes, I did. Emerald is serving like Azula this entire episode, and I love it. We love to see it. Also, like, why did the Doom and Gloom boys look like Shishomaru? Like, I was like, hello?
That's what Takeuchi
Good to
wanted
see
them
you. Anyway, also, Rini just like, I can't run away. Like, oh my god. Her running in to save her bestie despite being told by several people that it's hopeless, just like her mama. Just like her mama. And also like reflecting on our theme of like, hey, you should do the right thing because you're the only one who can do it, even if you know you're gonna fail. And then Emerald broke her fan. Oh my god, you made her break her fan. How could you? Anyway, that is all.
Yeah, my first note about the characterization in this episode is Rini's friends checks notes. Melissa.
Melissa.
I mean,
How
that's
could
not
you
her
forget
name.
Melissa?
Her name is Momoko. Yeah, I remember when I was writing my notes, I think her name's just Momo, but it's her nickname. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love that that she meets her and Rini immediately is like, yes, give me that hot elementary school.
Yes.
Also, I got very excited that the Bull brothers are here, Kural and Akaral. And I left a note that said we are absolutely not getting those names in this 90s cut, followed immediately by Doom and Gloom again? Come on, Master Doom and Gloom.
I'm still traumatized. You can't
Yeah.
do that to me.
Also, I think Rainey says, why is everyone out here playing? And I wrote, girl, they're killing each other in the room. So true.
I wrote, again, this is in the positive section.
Yeah.
Emerald really out here making sure that she has a pair of matching boy toy droids, even though statistically nearly every Yoma in Sailor Moon is female coded. Emerald was like, no, I will have men.
Yeah.
We'll match.
As mentioned, they're from the manga, and as Ura pointed out, fun fact, the twin twinks are the only droids in the anime that also appear in the manga.
Correct.
The twin twinks.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Nope. Yeah, there's also a little moment of heroism for Chibi Moon. It turns out Luna can be nice, but only if the other person isn't Usagi.
Yes.
Or Artemis.
Yeah, true facts. True facts.
And then
How
Emerald
mean is she to Diana in the dub? I can't remember.
We're not there yet, but not very.
not
Yeah.
very.
How could
Okay.
you physically
I'm just,
possible
like,
to be mean to Diana.
Yeah, her
pocketing
own,
away for like future of like Luna's exceptions to being an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh. And then I said, Emerald has the plan and the power, just not the follow through. If this bitch could just get up, get dressed, go to work for 8 hours, clock out, she could rule the universe.
She isn't getting paid enough for that.
But she's doing hot girl shit.
All right. I wrote that this was like a big episode for Rini, and it was nice to see that her motivation to fight for the things she cares about came from the fact that she'd made a friend here in the past that she cared about. It motivated her to want to be more heroic, both in the past and in the future, and to rely on her allies for help and support. Like, characterization-wise, this is very important at this point in the story because we've seen that Rini, as we know, because we know what she did, she's really trying to cause problems in the past in order to solve the problems that she caused in the future. And so she's abdicated a sense of responsibility for what happens in the past by saying, like, this is not my timeline, this is your problem, it's all going to work itself out. So this is the episode where she has an emotional stake in the past. She's made a friend here, and the problems that she's brought back to the past with her are now causing problems for the friend that she's made. And so this is part of her arc of taking responsibility for the fact that she can't just screw over someone else's part of the timeline in order to fix hers. And I thought this is big characterization wise as far as why it makes sense that her making a friend is motivational and makes her want to go back and fix the future, which is where she caused the problem.
Yeah. So as far as its relevance to the ongoing story, I did not spare a moment to point out manga enemy jump scare.
Yep.
We also finally have a Dark Henge being fairly successful. And we get to see how bad that would be for people. So I'm going to count that as being at least a little bit plot relevant.
Elementary school murder.
Emerald tries to take down the scouts with 2 hot men this time.
Yep. Rini says that the enemies, quote, hurt her friend and her mommy. This is maybe an implication that she knows that Sailor Moon is her mother, but maybe she's just referring to the fact that the enemy's her mom in the past. It's a little unclear. Also relevant in that this is where Wise Man notices that Rini is very powerful and decides that he wants to recruit her, which will become significant. And this is where Rini decides that she wants to go back to the future and fight and ask the squad to come with her because she needs help to save her mom. She's finally saying, she's admitting, look, I need help. I can't just fix the problems that I've partly caused.
Yeah. Okay, look at that plot. We have our plan to turn Rini to the dark side. And I also was like, oh, she said mommy. Like, did we connect the buns? Do we have the brain cell?
All right, so was it exciting and engaging, even if it wasn't relevant or high quality?
I got good transformations.
Yeah, I actually think this one's pretty exciting. There's some stakes in this episode.
Yeah, I think this was a solid one. Again, there wasn't really much distinction between the A and B plot, so the central plot all moved forward pretty well.
Yeah. Solid, fun, 10 out of 10.
All right,
Skeleton bit, chef's kiss.
Standout moment. I had 2. My first standout moment was Rini hiding behind a skeleton, leading to Sailor Moon getting jump scared by the skeleton popping out at her. And then also, specifically in Deke, because they are the best at trash talk, Jupiter saying, hey, Tweedledoom and Tweedlegloom.
Just go watch this episode on Patreon just for the Deke trash talk.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. No.
Flaws in this episode. I also really like Chibi Moon's forehead beams being strong enough to get everyone's attention. I love it when someone has a moment of distress and has like a power overload, and Chibi Moon does that a lot. So
Yay.
Yeah.
What if I said this whole episode was mid?
You're allowed to say that.
You can say that.
You can say that.
Melissa! Fucking Melissa. I'm so done with Melissa.
Oh, yeah. I think the trash talk and Chibiusa's like Super Saiyan moment, like, yeah, good. Yes, good. She Super Saiyan so hard she popped off her buns. Like her hair is like fully down after that moment. Like,
you ever Super Saiyan so hard your hair comes undone? Yeah.
So that it can Ghibli float.
Yeah.
yeah, it melted the elastics.
Yeah, my favorite part, obviously, is that I'm a sucker for character gets pushed to the brink, has a massive expulsion of power that exhausts them, but saves everyone in moments. And this episode had exactly that.
Yeah, similar. I really enjoyed seeing Rini get to the point where she like self-actualizes her powers and then wants to go back to the future and fight.
Sailor Denzel.
So, we did, in fact, talk about how they were hot. Yes.
Yep.
I think, where are we
hot.
rating
They were
them?
her boy toys. They were compared to Sisomaru.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but again,
Smash.
I think we're all smashing.
Double
Yeah.
smash.
Yeah.
Pass.
I'll
Smash
smash them
both
at the
of
same
them?
time. Yep.
Smash.
You're saying no. Well, you're the least
Okay.
bisexual of everyone here.
You
So.
are. Yeah.
I'm a lesbian. I can't do it.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Like, I think they're like on the board, like Twink or Twonk. I feel like Twonk because like they are beefy.
True.
They are
They
beefy.
are a little beefy. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're saying that Twink is like Helios,
Yeah.
and then that Hunk is like whoever that monster of the week is that's on our Smash or Pass thing.
Yeah.
Because there aren't many like beefy guys in
Yeah.
Sailor Moon, and I guess in that sense they would be Twunk.
Swapping between them both like headphones and speakers.
I was reading that. Like,
Ura is unhinged. Oh, just on fire tonight. Yup.
oh,
I'm glad you're.
I will keep my rated R thoughts in my brain.
Oh man, who was everyone's favorite character of the episode?
Yeah, I was gonna give this one to as a good Rini episode. She didn't really do anything annoying for me, and she just had good forward progression.
Sailor Moon was nice to Rini. I appreciated that. And then Duckie. Fucking Duckie.
Do it.
Fucking Duckie.
Melissa. But in all seriousness, Rini, I did love like the bonding between the two of them was particularly sweet. And I do enjoy Momoko and the like side stories in the manga.
Yeah.
She's really cute. And I think she does like reappear. I think she gets like
Yeah.
redesigned for the later seasons to be
She is her
closer.
consistent friend.
Yeah.
Her and the little green-haired boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name I can't remember.
I don't remember off the top of
The
my head.
other kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one
Yeah.
who wants to really date Michiru, and boy, do we have bad news for him.
She's got a boyfriend. His name is Brad.
Brad, the coolest boy in town!
Oh, fuck. All right. So now we're on to the parts that were not so good. The animation quality was like,
Their eyes stayed where they were supposed to be, thank the Lord above.
I said, not exactly gorgeous animation. This is probably the least ugly of the recent episodes we've seen. A slight amount of budget was allocated to this episode.
Yeah. It's like standard, like not end of season, oh my god, big bad, like fight level, but it wasn't Cricket Yoma episode bad.
Yeah.
So like a solid C plus. And C's get degrees.
Yeah, let's talk about the plot structure a little bit too.
Rini gets everyone on board for going to the future, and nothing else actually mattered.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, now I don't remember. I think I might be incorrect about this, but I thought Karel and Akrel were just guys. They're not like a monster of the week. They're just additional henchmen. They're like Esmeralda's sub henchmen. Like
Much like the Spectre Sisters.
Much like the Spectre Sisters.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure that they were like her Spectre Sisters. And not like a created thing, but maybe I'm remembering wrong. They might have also been droids. But anyway, they're not explained in the manga. They're not explained here. They're just here. But to be fair, it's not explained in the manga either. They're truly just here and dead, like so many henchmen in the manga. Every henchman arrives and goes, I name, surely will, goal, and then die in 2 pages.
I think part of what causes this to fall into negative here is that if you look at, and I've said this before, with when you have mini villains that have appeared in the manga versus ones that haven't, they tend to be A, somewhat more successful, but B, because they're more powerful, because C, they have less of a clear idea of what their power set is. Their power set is whatever miscellaneous abilities Takeuchi wanted them to have in order to be threatening. So Karel and Akrel are really powerful. They can do a lot of things, and that's because they don't have a restricted themed power set in the way that most of the various seasons Yoma do in Sailor Moon. They're like, oh, this is the dental hygiene one. Oh, this is the like salon one with blow dryers. Like, oh, this is the one that's all about like candy. They're very limited power sets, which means they're very ineffective villains. Kyril and Akuril have a lot of powers because they're from the manga, where they were more of a threat.
What about things that kind of didn't work about the characterization in this episode?
Rainy grew into a decent person.
Yeah, characterization-wise, I felt like this was a good episode for Rini, definitely, but the squad faded into the background, which is a shame. What can you do?
Are we gonna talk about this episode whitewashing Rini's Chinese friend, or
Melissa.
or you're just gonna let that
That's
one
my
go?
friend Melissa.
You're just gonna let that one go?
Nope. It's fine, don't worry about it.
I think they're like, I don't think they're like droids though, because like the rest of the ones, they have their like little gemstone with the dark moon thingy and then go poof. But
I
they
don't
are
remember
just
if one fall and turn to dust
Oh,
when they
shit.
die or not, because that would
Yeah.
My
clarify.
mom
like,
is
I don't-
downstairs, so I can't check. But I also just thought they were like the Ayakashi sisters. Just
I thought they were just like low level Black Moon
yeah,
citizens.
the sub henchmen.
Her boy
Yeah.
toy henchman.
Yeah, her boy henchmen.
Was it boring? If so, why? I said not really boring. This is a very plotty episode. It helps that this one again pulls elements from the manga.
Yeah, I kind of liked this one. I liked the manga character cameos. I love the manga. We know that about me. And I also enjoyed the kindergarten ballroom blitz. And the woman in the back said, "Everyone attack." And the kindergarten ballroom blitz.
Yes.
Ballroom.
No. And then I wasn't a fan of this one. It made me
Yeah.
space out. And
Yeah, you're allowed to dislike it.
Yeah.
yeah, and like no offense or Sailor Denzel, there wasn't even a hot lady for me to be like, like
Emerald was in it.
Emerald was listen,
Briefly,
Emerald
those
is
the moments that you were paying attention. I was like, why? Like the plot point of like splitting, I guess because they're twins, but like what were we doing in the park? Like what? Like that just didn't do it for me. Like if that had been fleshed out a little bit more, then like I think it would have gone better, but I was also fighting for my life on this one until like the back half.
Worst part, my little note here was just there was a dialogue moment where Artemis says, "She can't hear you, so she won't hear you."
so cute.
People
People die when they're killed.
Like, still like,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
We did remember correctly.
Okay.
Both the manga and the anime,
Okay.
they're not droids. They're also humans banished to Nemesis like the Ayakashi sisters.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
I'm
congratulations,
so glad
everyone.
I'm so
They
glad
are
I
still
actually remembered
fuckable.
that correctly. It's like I often reread parts of the manga just because I fucking love it, and I don't reread the second arc nearly as much as I reread the third and fifth because those are my favorites.
Yeah.
And so I genuinely believed that you were correct and that I had remembered wrong because it had been so long since I've read the second arc.
It's so much worse.
Let's talk about what could have made this episode better.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Most of this is a rehash of what I said, but like not to dunk on Takeuchi here, but I do think that probably because they were taken from the manga, Kyril and Akuril, Master Doom and Master Gloom, were very incoherent compared to the level of specificity that the 90s anime generally sticks to for villains. In the manga, because there are fewer villains, they can get away with having more diverse power sets, but it stands out more in the anime where the lower tier villains generally have narrow theming. Also, really, Kyril and Akuril could have had sexier outfits. Where
Yes.
is sluttiness? I just know Emerald would dress them better than this. You see how she dresses herself. These are her boy toys. Where is the sluttiness?
That's
were
so
just very
true.
good.
I didn't even think about that.
It was such a disappointment.
True.
Okay.
Okay.
I know it was a
Go off.
t-shirt and like wide leg pants. Like, come.
You
All
just
right.
go off.
Hear me out.
She pulled the microphone.
Because I haven't said enough about this episode. Apparently, this is my episode to die on tonight. But hear me out. Reedy makes a friend that she actually uses her skills of her growth as a person, and that's why this is significant. Not just a girl named Melissa wants to actually get exchange numbers. Reedy, you can have her as a friend, but like show me you grew from everything, and that's why we're celebrating this girl as tolerating you. However, I will admit this episode she was cute, but the past few episodes have not been me forgiving her. So yeah, put that focus on less of a random girl who becomes a random friend we may have ever seen. What's her backstory?
Yeah. Like, I would have liked to have seen, instead of the like weird random sick visit, like Rini makes a friend at school. Like they are pals. They're maybe a little gay because she's her mother's daughter. But I do like that Rini is like starting to get like a parallel normie friend a la Usagi and Haru. So
All right, let's give our verdicts here, our ratings. This one's going to be a 3 out of 5 for me. This episode was fine.
2 out of 5. It was mid.
I thought this, you know what? I thought this had some nice high points, so I'm gonna give it a 3.
3 out of 5 because Emerald is just that bitch. And Rini did a thing. Rini did a thing. She has evolved.
All right, so
Alright.
Congratulations. Your Rini
Yes.
has evolved into a chibi moon.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the last episode.
Yep. Episode
no, I
75. Michi, what's our title?
Future Shocked.
And our Japanese title for episode 82 is Journey to the Future, Battle in the Space-Time Corridor. That's just what happens in this episode.
Yeah.
All right, Michi,
All right.
go off.
All right.
Hit us with that sweet summary.
I hope I wrote this one. We'll see what I wrote. All right. Rini is crying into the void, asking what to do. Darren comes and was like, I thought we had a fucking plan. But yeah, Rini's like, yeah, but it doesn't elaborate. And I'm like, piss me off more. Don't talk. Darian says she needs to have faith in the scouts. I really need to work on my issues with her. Darian says she needs to have faith in the scouts and to do it together. Rini's like, hope you're right. We're supposed to like her right now. Like, just checking with the general audience. Do we actually like Rini? But scouts are like, where is she? It's literally, they're like, Usagi, you left from the same house. How the fuck is she not with you? And she's like, she had to go do something. Apparently, the something was to scream into the void until Tuxedo Mask finally goes and gets her ass as the scouts are about to go look for her. And then he's like, no, I've appeared and I've had the small child. So yeah, and Serena's like, did you change your mind? And Rini's like, of course not, you lying little piece of shit.
It's the last episode of the night. Keep going.
Yep, keep going. I might make you do the summaries from now on.
Yeah, this is so funny.
This is funny.
I swear to God, I thought I was being more professional.
It's the last episode. Maybe you should just keep splitting them. You could do the first 3 and you do the last 2.
Yeah, perfect.
This is off the chain, out of pocket. It's great. Keep going.
So Rini does the incantation, open up the time portal. Sailor Moon arrives and almost gets her teeth knocked in by Pluto. Rini stops her and Pluto's like, sorry, my bad. Bog hid you. Everyone else magically arrives and Pluto's like, explain to Rini. Rini's like, I need all the help I can get. And Pluto's like, yeah, you're right.
Legit.
Yeah. Like, honestly, you're such a... In her head, I'm like, she's like, honey, you're not going to succeed. Might as well get all the help you can get. But she's nice to her on the outside. And Rini's like, it's a weird moment where, like, Rini's, like, expecting her to get hit by Pluto. And I'm like, listen, I know she's about to beat the shit out of Usagi, but, like, I don't know. It was
You guys are pals. Like,
yeah. I don't know, that was like a weird moment I just wanted to bring up. But yeah, Pluto opens the door, warns them to stay together and concentrate on the destination. Mercury wants Pluto to come, but she says she can't. Long story short, Pluto's super sad. Backstory, Luna from Buns the First. So Sapphire notices them in the time portal, alerts it to everybody. Wise Man says it's turn. Our advantage to get Small Lady on their side. Emerald is not having it. Diamond is horny over Sailor Moon. Diamond doesn't even try to hide that he's horny. Like, this man is just like...
I want to gaze into her beautiful eyes.
Like a creep.
No, not her eyes.
Or no, I'm sorry, her beautiful, beautiful blue orbs. He says something of like early aughts fanfic here.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And yes, this is raging with Michi.
We love it.
Yep.
Genuinely, we love this.
By the way, I'm noting that the audience had lower ratings for the Sheep Moon episode than we gave it.
2.5 and a 2.
Yep.
See, they
So they're
agree
with
me.
you, Michi.
Yeah, they're
They
with
also
you.
felt it was aggressively mid.
Vindicated.
Vindication. Good. All right, let's continue on this
Sailor
journey.
Denzel, if a man calls your eyes orbs, run.
Run the fuck away.
Okay.
Oh,
Back
that
to
is a red
Michi's
flag.
summary. All right,
Mhm.
cook, Michi.
All right.
Cook.
So Diamond's not even trying to hide that he's horny and forces Emerald to go get Sailor Moon and Chibiusa. The gang's going through the time warp. Emerald like shows up upside down, laughing like a Dorito laughing. Like it's ridiculous. And they separate. So Emerald calls the genie of the time warp to go get Small Lady. Genie of the time warp design slaps. Inners and Moon find each other. The Sailor Crystal starts glowing, responding to a far-off pink dot. Tuxedo and Cats find each other, almost go the wrong way, and then his future self decides to be helpful for the first time in his fucking life.
Ronald did a thing.
Hey, that's slander on Moonlight Night.
I don't count that because he doesn't even remember it.
Yeah, that's like whatever part of his subconscious is like, I should be useful, that immediately gets looked.
Yeah, immediately gets that hell no. But Rini's alone, but finds a portal to the future. The genie of the time warp appears as Neo Queen Serenity and tries to lure in Rini, but calls her Small Lady and gives herself away. The genie changes back into her real self. Rini then ends up remembering Darian's inspiring ass words from before of "What the fuck are you doing?" and decides she can get a slingshot her way out of it. And as the moon arrived, Genie switches up timeline. Mars is a fucking hothead. Again,
literally and figuratively.
Yeah, gets fired right back at her time warp, and then what does Jupiter and Venus do? The same damn thing. Has anyone learned anything? No. Moving on. Mercury's like, I swear to God, then calculates out the answer how to win. Rena decides to sacrifice herself as a way to make the genie use her powers. Tux saves her. All 5 sailors use Sailor Planet powers, split second the genie when her power is normal and defeat the enemy. Everyone commends Rena on being brave. Artemis is like, let's get the hell out of here already. They welcome up. They open the door and the future looks bleak. Craters everywhere in the Crystal Palace looking sad. Welcome to your handiwork, Chibiusa. The end.
Man. Thank you.
Here's the thing. You guys asked me to write a summary. My notes are usually nothing but venom.
Perfect. Wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
Let's talk about the animation quality. What did we like?
Pretty time door.
Yeah, I noted that I really love when Sailor Moon saves money by just going fully psychedelic with it. Abstract backgrounds, kaleidoscopic or ink blot colors just in the background. It's super ethereal and cool. It really works. We only had the budget to animate a character model, and the background was just like, we took some ink and went, right? It's great. I love it. Also, the monster dissolving out of her disguise was horrifying. Every time Sailor Moon just like dips a little bit into horror, we're like, whoop, a little horror, and now we're back. I love it when it does that. Just like, horror is one of its subgenres. Like, it's a couple different genres working at once, and when it's like, oh, by the way, horror's here, and then keeps going. My favorite.
It's the tuxedo mask of the subgenres because it's like, hi, I'm here. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right, animation quality. I noted the droid in this episode has a really nice design. Like, it's vaguely giving Salvador Dali, but also is just a really nice design in general.
Hair game in this episode. The transport is gorgeous. The time door is gorgeous. Emerald's lightning in this episode when she attacks was like, just, that did something for me. And the melting, because there's like one, I can't remember if it's in the first season or if it's in a later season, that like Usagi has like a dream or like encounters a villain that does something really similar where it like melts into a skeleton. So that was cool to have like that callback moment with this droid.
Yeah, that I believe that's from, like, that might even be from like the first episode with Molly's mom, but it is also in the Deke opening of every episode.
I think this one might be plot heavy, lads. Yeah.
Luna giving us Pluto backstory featuring Queen Serenity lore. I'm like, okay, Queen Serenity, why don't you fess up that it was you who put her at the time door?
Michi's hate for Queen Serenity. We haven't even touched on that yet. But like, on piggybacking off of that, I love Pluto's deal. It's so compelling. Her whole thing is so compelling. And it absolutely, I encountered that as a teen, and that was the sort of thing that made me go, oh, you can do that? Like, that's a thing stories can do? That's a thing I can... Oh, what? It blew my mind then, and it still gives me the good brain chemicals now.
I agree with that. I think the plot device where they get separated in part of the episode, but then they detect each other due to what I can only assume is like
asynchronous pulsing of the 2 silver crystals is a really nice plot device, because so far the audience still has no idea that Rini stole the silver crystal and absorbed it. So this is the first hint of them setting up us seeing that, is that we still, like, the audience does not know what pink glow in the distance was drawing their attention, but because we have this awareness of the audience having seen it before, of what Rini has actually done that has not been revealed yet, we know that's the 2 silver crystals calling out to each other, which is so nice as far as like setting up that gun on the mantelpiece that will show up later. Generally, I also just think this episode hangs together pretty well because it's all main plot advancing. Although the travels through the time warp feel a bit slow and dull pacing wise, and the entire time warp sequence was just frankly needless, the episode was still fine, more or less. I'm just not sure this episode needed to exist.
Yeah. We love a lore drop. Also, the cackle I cackled when Pluto's like, hey, just focus on your destination. I'm like, ma'am, you got 2 dumb blondes with ADHD, you got a brunette with ADHD, and the other 2 are hopelessly gay. I want them to do a focus. This is gonna go so good, and it does.
They make it so far.
All right, so let's glow up the characterization. A favorite characterization point: Sailor Pluto was fully ready to just break Sailor Moon with a time key. No dead scream, no magic, just brutal, bludgeoning murder. She was ready. Love it.
Yep. Love the evil cape wave of Prince Diamond. Whenever he appears, his cape just waves in the distance for no reason. And I'm like, yes. And then Mars is a hothead who doesn't wait.
I love any time Mars just like goes off half-cocked. It's perfect.
When I showed you guys like the playbooks that I had written for the role-playing game, one of the things that gave Mars XP was doing that.
It's real.
Yep. I was like, I'm gonna dangle that as a player thing and encourage people to be like, oh, you're playing Sailor Mars? Make a bold and brash decision without consulting anyone else.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna reward you for doing that. But also, back on topic, once again, Sapphire is the only person paying attention or doing anything resembling strategy.
Yep.
I love him.
Yep. And again, this is the positive characterization section. Diamond is so aggressively, unrelentingly horny for Sailor Moon, and Sapphire is constantly begging Diamond to please calm down and stay on track. Like, it's genuinely, I'm not saying it's a good, like, that it's good for Diamond to be this way, but genuinely, like, they go so hard on this characterization, and I think it is fantastic.
Yeah, just with the deepest affection, Diamond is disgusting, and I hate him.
Yeah, no, 100. I also love like moments where Mars is like a hothead and like just does the thing, because like she has these moments where she'll like get on Usagi's ass for doing shit like that, and it's just like funny to see like what makes her snap in a given moment. Also, like, y'all are gonna faint. Momo in the beginning of the episode, a good dad. Not actually,
He has his moments.
I was like, oh my god, that's actually really wholesome. Good job. You did a useful. I'm so proud of you, sir. Also, just Sailor Pluto, like, ready to eat her boss as if she does not have the most distinctive hairset. Like, she was ready. And I think, like, not to dip too far forward into Super, but this, I think, like, because, like, I feel like she, like, thought better of it. But I think, like, this shows like the level of commitment that the outers have to their mission, where they are like, yeah, no, I will straight up kill a bitch, whereas like the rest of the girlies are like moon healing escalation about it, and how that like separates the outers from the rest of the Senshi. Also, like, I loved the bit of the girls like immediately empathizing with Pluto, getting like even just the Cliff's Notes version of her lore of like, that must be so lonely. We're so privileged to have each other.
Yeah.
Mars also got an XP bonus if she started a fight with someone, especially
nice.
her friends. Yeah. I went and looked it up. I was like, did I really do that? Yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
All right, relevance to the ongoing story.
Time door, time door, time door, time door. I don't know how I ever failed to notice that the phases of the moon are on the time door before, but I noticed it this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I had ever missed that before. Also, the rest of the notes is just me screaming about Sailor Pluto's here.
Yeah, mine is just poor Pluto.
Ah!
Yeah.
Honestly, the only really relevant part was the part where they meet Pluto and go through the time door. The entire bout of shenanigans where they get separated and battle a droid in the time warp was complete filler and didn't feel like it advanced anyone's character arc in any way. The only part that's relevant was the part where they meet Pluto.
Yeah.
We're doing the time warp!
We actually got to interact with Pluto outside the roughly 90 seconds of screen time she gets in this episode. Yeah, but I'm still like, yes, every time it happens.
Yeah. That, and I think, like, I guess this is more characterization, but I just, like, thought of it.
Just say it.
Rini, like, having that moment where she's like, wait a second, that's not my mom. You just call me small lady. My mom doesn't call me. Oh my god, you have a brain cell. Congratulations. I don't know how to do with your parents, but good job, baby girl.
I love the things we're rewarding at this point. We're like, recognize that a person calling her the wrong name wasn't her mom.
Yeah.
Great job.
Way to go.
1 point.
Yeah. To be fair, like, as, like, a tiny 9-year-old, like, mommy a little spooky ooky, right? Like, going to the past, doing all this shit, like.
That brings up a good point, but like her mom does call her
small lady all the
time. Yeah, that's true.
All right, was it engaging or exciting, even if it wasn't relevant or high quality?
I remember watching this episode before school, where I'm watching Sailor Moon before school years old. And by the concept, like the concept of the time door and the Guardian Time and like Pluto's whole deal, and like she's the daughter of Kronos, and she's immortal, and she's standing there forever, and it's tucked away at the end of this series of episodes, and it's like just a little bit of this episode, but it makes the whole episode for me. And I never knew what episode number this was, so when I was watching those reruns before school, I always just hoped that I would be tuning in when this episode queued up. Yeah, that doesn't actually answer the question, but that's what it made it engaging for me. Yeah.
You were engaged.
I just said, hells yeah. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I said the beginning of it was very engaging for me, but as noted, I feel like the time warp was...
It really does fall off after they're like, here's Sailor Pluto. This is one of the most compelling concepts in the setting. And they're like, what are we going to do for the remaining 15 minutes? Float in front of a psychedelic background.
She's like, don't get lost in the time warp. They get lost in the time warp. Then they find their way out of the time warp.
Yeah. It was alright.
All right, standout moment.
Yeah. Time door. Yeah,
my standout moment was we got a brief horror moment, and Monica mentioned this before, where the droid who'd been impersonating Neo Queen Serenity melts into flesh and bone dregs before turning back into a droid. It was really cool. And then this episode had a particularly cool looking use of Sailor Planet powers, animated in a different way, and I liked it.
It does. Yeah, it was very cool. There's a bunch of high points in this episode.
Yeah.
Then there's a little boring part in the middle. Yeah, I consistently forget is there because I'm just like,
so boring.
Time door.
You edited out the boring part from your memory.
Yep.
I just like Pluto. She was so good.
Pluto, time door, Sailor Planet power mention, Sailor Planet power mention.
All right.
I go feral for that one. Like, just.
I love how trippy this episode is.
Mm.
That's my favorite part. I love how weird and out there this episode is.
Mine is planet power. Because we never
my
get
favorite
it.
part of this episode, I really loved when Mercury hangs back and analyzes the situation to identify an opponent's weakness. We will consistently see, and we've seen it since season 1, that like that is the thing that she uniquely brings to the team. Like, it's not just that she's not hot-headed, but she specifically will take her time when it is not incentivized to do.
Yeah. No. Being calm, cool, and collected under pressure. Time warp.
Yeah, fair.
Just for the bit, honestly. Like.
So, who was our favorite character of this episode, and why was it Pluto?
Because anytime Pluto is around prior to the third arc, my answer is Pluto.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I can't agree more.
Yeah. Also, Emerald for being like, nah, that was cute. That was cute, Diamond, about get Sailor Moon also. Nah, I think we're just gonna lose her. in the time warp, actually. Like,
Love it for her.
iconic.
All right, so we've done the glows. Let's do the grows. What didn't work? Animation quality.
Everyone's faces were pretty clearly drawn on a deadline in this episode. Also, in which the entire animation team forgets what anatomy is. A lot of weird bodies in this.
My notes literally say, "What the actual fuck? This is so badly animated. It hurts my soul." Off model / Wandering Eyes animation team really phoning it in on this one.
Team struggled a lot, which sucks for such an important episode.
It was not great.
And plot structure.
Yeah, I'm gonna file this here, but every time Rini does not actually use the full incantation that activates the time key, I get it.
My plot structure issue was, how does Emerald have access to Pluto's forbidden time warp that she guards the door of? It's never actually been explained how the Black Moon Clan have been able to travel through time.
I assumed that, I don't think you're right, it's not explained. I just assumed Wise Man was doing that. That he sends them back in time.
Yeah, how come Pluto's never stopped that?
Because it's not the third arc yet.
Yeah.
Because we haven't established that set in detail yet. The same reason the Makaiju tree didn't proc the awakening of the Outers.
So true. It did come from deep space, and they weren't like, "Hey, you're not allowed in here."
Correct.
This is our job.
That it was a threat from outside the solar system. It would have
Specifically
anyway.
their job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Because I love Sailor Moon Deep Lore. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So Michi, plot structure. What didn't you like?
Travel to the future, melting clocks, future sucks.
Yeah, I feel like could we have had 3 more minutes?
Yeah, we didn't even get Pluto's backstory until she was in the rearview mirror. Literally.
Yeah.
They were flying away with Sailor Planet power. They're like, "Oh, so by the way, what's the deal with Sailor
You
Pluto?"
should do this too. What? I get the whole point is that she's supposed to be shrouded in mystery so that she can do her job and not get attention, she may be. But we're here. We already broke the taboo. Anyway.
Characterization?
Yeah, sorry, we
we
got
tabbed away and we
accidentally
had to,
tapped away. Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Okay,
There we
so
are. We're caught back up.
characterization. My issue with characterization here is that Rini called Pluto Luna P multiple times.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That was
Sailor
driving
said
me
no.
insane.
Just brought up. No one even bothered asking for her name. Justice for my girl Trista.
Yes. Exactly. Trista.
Okay, my other characterization issue was Mercury saying goodbye, Sailor P, despite this being an off-screen voice line. It's not like they were limited by lip flaps or anything. She could have said goodbye, Sailor Pluto, but Mercury said Sailor P.
For no reason. And then I wanted to bring up his minds about Rini being actually really brave. I meant to put this in the positive, but bring it up also.
You had a positive thing to say about Chibiusa, I love that.
It's the first, but and Laura being low-key, I vote Chibiusa for that slingshot remover. She was very brave.
Okay, so let's criticize relevance to the ongoing story.
They're on their way to the future, and poor Pluto is stuck at the damn door.
Yes, and only the first 5 minutes really were relevant.
Yeah, this is really more of a contributor to Sailor Moon Deep Lore than it is to the plot. It does tie into the whole time travel thing, and we've met Pluto before, so it also ties into the manga plot, so it is relevant, but only the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Was it boring? If so, why?
It wasn't. It really wasn't. It was a good episode.
The time warp really dragged for me, but I'm invested in general currently, so I can put up with it.
I like this episode. Okay. So yeah, no.
The worst part.
Michi,
Tuxedo Mask did a lot of yelling this episode. Fucking a lot of yelling. A lot of yelling.
He did. For me, the worst part, the animation was just devastatingly bad. How could they do this to Sailor Pluto, a queen, a goddess, the literal daughter of Kronos?
Just owie.
Yeah.
Owie.
All right, thing it could have done entirely without.
I know he has to come to the future, but couldn't Tuxedo Mask have done it quieter?
I
know.
So much.
I said literally most of the episode didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would make it better? My notes here. I honestly think it would have been cool if Sailor Pluto was also standing outside of the other time door at the end of the time warp.
Yeah.
Because
that would have been
realistically, if
cool.
I'm honest, the entire time warp sequence didn't need to exist. They didn't need to get separated. They didn't need to fight a droid. I honestly would have found it more interesting if they had to confront some kind of challenge that was more endemic to the time warp, rather than an external threat that was inserted by Emerald. Like, have the time warp itself just be fucking dangerous.
Yeah, it'd be pretty
Traveling
cool.
through time should be perilous and have stakes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh god. Is it I think it's like Super S when they have to like when they're like in their chibi forms and they have to like go help like baby them to get their power up to Super Senshi. Something of that ilk dropped into
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Also, like, the chthonic horrors that live outside of time
Yeah.
floating around in there is a very Takeuchi plotline.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really is. And then more Sailor Pluto. The fact it's all Queen Serenity's fault she's there would also be great to see. But in general, more Pluto, less screaming.
More Pluto, less streaming. Oh man.
All right, let's rate the episode.
3 out of 5 stars for Pluto and time lore.
Okay, so I understand that the time warp part is boring, and I'm not arguing with that, but I have to give this a 4, and that's deeply because of how much this influenced me and my ideas, and like how much when I was younger I saw this and was just like, stories can be like
Yeah,
that.
life changed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
life changed genuinely, and so I have to give it 4 on that alone. And I do not disagree with any of the criticisms that people have leveled about it.
This one feels like a 3 for me, and all 3 of them are for Pluto.
I'm gonna give it a 3-5 because like we had some good moment, but like the time warp fight was just like we could have done this cool. We could have done so much better. I need another Relia fix it.
My Lady Chapel's given this 3 stars.
I think we're gonna average it 3.
Yeah, I only do a full start to end fix it if the episode could not be fixed any other way but by rewriting the whole thing. That is the only time I will do something like that.
Okay.
Sailor Denzel's giving it 5 for the Pluto scene, but 3 for overall. You know what? I agree.
Solid.
With
You know what?
Hard
That's
agree.
a solid
hard
rating.
agree. Hard agree.
Dan Sailor Pluto in this house.
We do. Are you still around? Do you want to rate it?
What's up?
I was seeing if
Oh, we're
Ura
waiting
wanted-
for the audience to. Get
Oh,
their
yeah,
ratings.
yeah.
Does
Right
anybody
now,
else
we
wanna
wanna
rate
the
it?
episode.
But yeah, no, it was good. Here's the thing: I'm a hater, but like I'm a hater from love.
Ura feels between 2.5 and 3.
Okay,
Yeah.
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 We're all in agreement on this one, that it's
Yeah.
a pretty solid B of an episode.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like it starts off strong and then ends weak, and like I
Yeah.
definitely feel like, oh, they go through the time warp and they have to deal with like existential horrors. That'd have been really fucking
Really
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
That'd have been really cool. That would have been is what the seeing that for the first time made me want to do. That's a plotline I would write. Read my book.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, I think that wraps us up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure do.
And with that, we come to the end of our show. Thank you for joining us for Bishoujo Senshi Slumber Party. React to Sailor Moon Deep Dub, or review of the Sailor Moon Deep Dub, episode 71 through 75 discussion.
And as always, our fellow Moonies, check us out on all our socials and follow us to find out the next time we're going live. And you can find our links on our link tree in the description below.
Yeah.
You're still typing a note to me.
Sailor Moon.
Yeah, so don't forget to tune into Eternal Mooncast on Saturday, May 10th for Sailor Moon the Super Live episode featuring guest The Last Black Moon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you just knew
I
that.
just took that because I knew that.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I've been your co-host, Monica. And if you want to know what I'm up to and interested in, feel free to follow me at Gay Wizard Emporium on Tumblr. Keep up to date with the progress. You read my book. Keep up to date with the progress of the novel I'm writing, which I promise Sailor Moon fans will love, as well as see whatever else I'm enjoying at the moment.
I've been your co-host Relia. If you like what I do and you want to follow me on social media, you can find my most active socials popping up on the screen below. If you want to follow my cosplay adventures, you can find me on Instagram at Relia Lacdemon. If you want to follow my artwork, I'm on Tumblr at Art Crystals and on Blue Sky as Relia. If you want to see more full episode rewrites from me, you can't. That is not a thing that I regularly do for recreation. I did it only out of anger. Thanks as always for supporting the show, and join us for our next slumber party on May 3rd, which is next week.
Yeah, it's my birthday.
Yeah, that's gonna be the big one.
We're gonna have a little birthday party. It'll be really fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Ducky, you want to
Yes,
go?
Oh yes, hello, I am Fancy Ducky. You can find me at Fancy Ducky on everything except for the bad place of Tweeter, which is unfortunate because bird themed. Anyway, rip Joanne's indeed. That's me.
Okay, dope.
And as always, I've been your host, Michi. You can find my personal socials at MEW21 across the web. As for now, and my Monica has joined K-Pop Voyage over on YouTube. You can check us out. We're just reacting to K-pop as we go. Right now, it's a lot of Red Velvet and XG.
You can watch
was
me
just
dance to
X-pop.
Red Velvet songs.
Yes.
I talk thoughtfully about music like I talk thoughtfully about Sailor Moon. So if you
Yay.
like that, you can come see more of it.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But for our parent show, Eternal Mooncast, you can find previous episodes on our YouTube. We appreciate any likes, comments, follows, or wherever you'd like to show your support for our show in your own way. As a quick reminder, these have just been our personal opinions, and we celebrate all respectful Mooney opinions here. Good night.